What's up with you? What's up with you? We got to catch up, man. We got to catch up on this stuff right here. There's conversations. There's beliefs that um, from Destination Smokehouse has been fired. That's what the rumor is. That was the Keith Lee situation where the influencer wanted to give him $5,000 tip or $4,500 tip, and Destination refused to let him do that. They've trademarked the little Tenderism name, and well, there's a fight for that right now. But a lot of that has to do with Unc. Unc is not, Unc is hugging. Unc is tap dancing. He's smiling, and when you talk about the history of exploitation and racism, right? The history of it, Jim Crow. When you talk about debt after the Civil Wars, the way they treated blacks, they put them in the term peon came from the ones who would accumulate debt. And they would deliberately say, okay, you're gonna share crop, right? Okay, well, you got to buy the seeds. They they would say, okay, you don't have any money. Okay, here's the seeds, but seeds cost $1. You got to give me back $5 because you don't have any money. And that's the and so that was illegal when they would do it to Negroes. It was terrible, but this is what they was doing. But they had to survive. They didn't have any money, and also you got put in jail if you didn't have a job. It's out, man. And we know it's been suppressed. And just like it on these YouTube, they got these clown Negroes walking around here trying to pretend that they they MAGA and all of that. And then that's a whole different conversation. But these Negroes don't know. They don't know their history. And when you look at a guy like Michael Jordan, and I love to use him as an example because Negroes think that he's winning. Actually, he's not. Now, if you want to go by, he got money. Yes, he has money. He has money. He had money for, he was playing in NBA. He had money then. He was getting NBA money. But no, he's not getting the money he deserves. And I don't and that's where you get into like this Unc situation. Negroes don't understand the full context of this. He's not getting the money he deserves. He's been exploited. And I've always said that. I've always said that. I said this dude has made Phil Knight. I mean, what is this guy name? Phil Knight. He's made this Knight guy billions of dollars. This guy's never dribbled a basketball. He's never uh, did the pick and roll. He's never had to go to practice. He didn't have to go to the Olympics. They make these Negroes, they treat these Negroes like trash. And then they pimp these Negroes out to the Olympics. They make some more money. And then if they lose, they talk down on them. They call them names. If they win, they discount it. Well, I want a gold. They act like it doesn't even happen. But once again, you can't save a man from himself. So in a lot of cases, look, Unc is Unc, and he's an older dude. He probably don't even want to do it as far as trying to have his own business. But he has to understand if you're gonna get in the world of business, you have to be a business man. And the Negro has never understood that. The Negro has always been exploited. Uh, they got tails back doing uh, uh, when the social workers would go into all of these places and they would try to get the Negro to understand, you need to fill this out. If you fill this out, we can help you. And the Negro wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. It's almost like with the slavery, or well, not slavery, what the circus, right? You put the little rope on the elephant's leg when he's little, and you stick it in the ground when he's little. And then when he's humongous and could take the whole tent down, he won't do it because once you put the rope back on his leg, he thinks he's trapped. And that's what you look at Jordan. And it's sad because I know guys need Jordan. They need Jordan as some type of role model. I've seen it. I'm in a black community. I see the way these dudes jump up and down and scream about Michael Jordan, and you can just look at these Negroes. A lot of them don't have fathers. A lot of them are misguided and stupid. And this is what you get. And this tenderism guy, he got exploited, man. That's how the game go. If you don't want to play business, this is a business world. You know, he don't need the guy. It just is pretty obvious he doesn't need Destination Smokehouse. The internet is big now. That's debatable. Would they support him? But because they could be up here clamoring, and then he does go out, say in August, he says, "I got me a new steakhouse," and everybody, come on down. Would they come down? I don't know. I don't know that. But this reminds me of the Michael Jordan Field Knight situation. People ask Mike, don't you want, why don't you get your own shoes? You don't need Nike. You don't need Nike. You got millions of dollars. Just do what Field did. Go over there and get the connection to the companies over there. Do the things, pay the fees, and then once your shoes are manufactured, do the same thing Nike's do. You got to get a distribution deal. You got to do all of that. Do what they done. You got millions of dollars. Spend 50 million to make $1 billion. He wouldn't do it. In fact, he had a member of his team traded because the guy went and did he did a Sports Illustrated article about Mike. And Mike is real like a diva. And Mike started whining, and he got that guy could play, man. That guy could shoot. Mike got that guy traded just because he did that article. And all he did was tell the truth. All he did was tell the truth. But the Negro, the mind of the Negro, they don't understand that. They got money, don't have no power. Just like these buffoons on YouTube, absolute buffoons with their 2 million subscribers, man. And if YouTube wanted to, boom, you gone. Because they have power. You got a big panel, but they got power. And you don't understand what power is. You sitting around talking about some money because you can put a big gold chain on your neck. Because you can walk up and down the street with a fat gold chain on your neck or ride around in the white man's car and put your money in his bank and live in his neighborhood. Yeah, and I don't blame. Just think about this. Just think about that. How can somebody they can do that and they don't even know what power is? We was just talking about Floyd. Floyd ain't got no power. Well, we know he ain't got no money or no power. Floyd over there in Brazil, I said, yeah, well, if he knew a senator, if he was related to someone in a powerful position, they could do some things. They could get the wheels rolling and some things could happen. But he doesn't have any power. He doesn't have any money, and he's also a criminal. So we know that's not going to happen. But when you look at this tenderism, it's sad because another Negro, he don't want to do his business, man. And this guy who runs the smokehouse, this guy's a businessman. This guy's a businessman. He probably has been advised by people have come up to him and talked to him and advised him of the things he needs to do. And he went in and he put the paperwork in to get that trademark. You could open up another smokehouse, rename it that. And the brother giving him a couple of dollars, and that's sad. Okay, here go $5,000. Isn't that what they do to the Negro? That's in the music industry. That's really in the music industry. They exploit those people. We're finding out now. You had artists, they didn't get anything. There's a woman from the 80s. She did a demo. She went to the record label and she had all the equipment and she wrote the song. It was her song. And they did it a couple of times and they had some beats. It was their beats, her song. And they played the music. I said, what about this beat? What about this? And she said, well, I like that one. I think I could do something with that. So she took the song she wrote and she sang it. And, obviously it's going to take, a while, but they put it together. And that was her demo. That was her trying out to get signed by a label. And she left. And she said about 4 months later, she's listening to the radio and it's her. She has the number one hit. She said she get a nickel for that, and she didn't have any rights. The paperwork, she didn't do none of that. She didn't have. She got nothing for that. And when you look at that now, you say it's wrong. You say they actually they weren't though. You got to do your paperwork. You got to do your paperwork. You got to sign. You guys do your paperwork. You can't give them a whole. You can't give them stuff you've written. You got, and if you give it to them, you just gave it to them. They right now, you can go back to guys would guys would write songs, and they would do it in their home studio, and they would have catchy hooks, and they would just sell it right locally in the community, basketball courts, community centers, even schools. And it had a catchy tune to it, and it would catch fire. Now, it didn't bubble up into regional success, right? You had a lot of DJs who would play music late at night. You say 12 from 12 to 4, I'll play your stuff. Send me a CD, and I'll play it. And we'll ask the people, do they like it or they don't? Now, obviously, this was people making stuff. You know, you can make it with your computer now. And the bigger artists would steal it. The larger artists would steal their intellectual property because it wasn't copyrighted, because they didn't do the proper things. They could tell the world, and that's, you can see that on YouTube. They play that on YouTube. They said that there's a rumor that Biggie Smalls, the Juicy song, there was a guy like in Texas or something who, it wasn't exactly the same, but it was similar, very similar. And they said that's where the Juicy song came from. So you got to have your paperwork in order, man. And I think Jordan is a horrific example. I mean, I got no problem with the dude. He a billionaire. More power to the brother. And I saw the thing with NASCAR. He's got a team, and they sued, and they won. You know, do your thing right there. But as far as this Nike thing, you can't. I'm sorry, man. That's not how to do it. You making $3, he making 30. He's worth 35 billion. You worth 3 billion. Yeah, but you also ran up and down the court and you chased the basketball. And people say you ran the Hornets into the ditch. And they said as an executive, that's why the Washington Wizards fired you. And they said when they fired you, you acted like, oh, I hate to even say that. You got in your feelings and you got real feminine. And they offered you a $10 million payment or whatever. What is it? I don't even know what they call it. A $10 million buyout. And you left it on the desk. And I said, man, them people don't care. I mean, them people billionaires, the owners of the Wizards, they're billionaires. They don't care. Here's $10 million. Look, we're going to go in a different direction. Here's $10 million for your trouble. And he got in his feelings. And he got up. I'm Jordan. You fired me. You can't fire me. And well, here's $10 million. You would keep your money. And I said, yeah, man. I said, man, them people, they just looked at him and said, that's a fool. That's a fool. That's what they said. They said, that's a fool. They said, okay, put this money back in our account. Okay, well, you're not coming here anymore. Goodbye. And I said, man, that is how Negroes think, man. They think like kids. They don't even think the right way. And then when you talk about the Jim Crow, when you talk about after the Civil War, the way they treated blacks and sharecropping, and blacks had to survive. Remember, they didn't have a choice. That was the law. It regulated them. They didn't have a choice. When you look at Jordan, he had a choice. He had a choice. And against the community, he did what he did against the community. People were coming out of all over the place. He did anyhow. And he had a choice. Craig Hodges, there you go, man. What's up with you, player? He had a choice and he still stayed with Nike. And it's like full ownership, creative control, and also being able to pass to your kids, that you own something, that you have something. Yet he continues to be exploited as we speak. And dummy Negroes, you know, wow, Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan. Woo! Oh, let me get it. Yeah, and and that's what you get when you see this stuff. Let me see this right here. And blacks have always been exploited. Uh, Blacks have always been exploited, and they do use people like a Jordan to try to paint some picture that we have overcome and everything. It's better. It's better. And the thing about what makes it bad to me when you say a Jordan type, it's worse because he had a choice. The other ones, they didn't have a choice. If they went against the law, they were punished and they didn't have any money and they were fined. They know that they couldn't pay the fines. And they said, well, I'll buy your seed. And they knew the seed was was 10 cent for a pound of seed. And the sharecropper, the owner of the property, was saying, okay, well, since you don't have 10 cents, I'm gonna need $1.15 for this seed. And then when the crop was grown, which was nothing but de facto slavery, they would say, okay, there you got all the corn, you harvested, you got it in the truck. I got to take a cut of that. We got to go to town, but they won't buy from you because you black. So since I got to take it to town, I'm gonna need a cut. And there's already so basically they got nothing. They got crumbs back. They got nothing back, just nothing. Nothing, a minuscule amount. When you say the contributions, just and this was legal. And that's the term peon. Forget that peon over there. That's where that term came from. Debt peonages. Well, I'll let you figure that one out. Debt peonages. Wage theft. Many former slaves established farms on land abandoned by white Southerners. Sharecropping. They were told, that's what I'm saying. They were told not to sign contracts. So sharecropping came up as a compromise. Landowners divided plantations into 20 to 50 acre plots. In exchange for the use of the land, a cabin, and supplies, the sharecroppers agreed to raise a cash crop and give a portion, typically half, of the harvest to the landowner. Landowners extended credit to the sharecroppers to buy goods and charged high interest rates, 70%, creating a system of economic dependence and poverty. The debt would compound year after year until there was no way to ever repay it, which was de facto slavery. And if they left, that was illegal. They were fugitives. And then they punished them with Jim Crow laws. And it kept many of them to remain up under the thumb. So yeah, when I see a Michael Jordan, yeah, yeah, okay, he got money, but he don't have no power. He would be no different than Diddy. He would be no different than Diddy. Um, yeah, he got money, but he don't have no power. Just like Diddy, with all his money, his 800 million. I don't think Diddy ever got to a billion. His $850 million. He's in prison. He doesn't have any power. When you have power, the wheels of power, the levers of power, they work in your favor. You don't have to worry about stuff like that. And this is typical Negro. This dude right here getting exploited. This tenderism dude being used like that. It's sad, but it's up to tenderism. It's up to Mr. Tenderism. He's gonna have to do something. He's not participating. The people on the side, the people are saying Unc got fired. He may have. He likes the guy. I hope it's in his best interest. You know, a lot of blacks were swindled because a lot of blacks couldn't do business. They had to have a white person do their business, and they had to trust him. They had to turn over stuff to him. Put it in your name in order to sell. In order to sell this land, you got to put it in his name. The guy would say, "Yeah, I'm gonna make this is going to be the split. This is the amount of money you're going to get. You give me this amount, and I'll make the sale happen." Many of the time, they lied. They took all the money. They could care less, and living under Jim Crow, they couldn't really complain. There was nothing they could do. They had to accept it. Didn't have a choice. Borgen says, never forget rule number one about business. It's nobody's business to teach you business. Either create your own and own it, or be a worker for someone else. Choose wisely. Yeah, and if you're a worker for someone else, and we see that now, right? In the age of social media, if you can make some catchy phrase, which is all a commercial is, a jingle. If you can go to McDonald's and you can have a little catchy phrase because you work there and it's fun, and just like the TikTok dances now, the guys and the girls, they go on TikTok and they I don't even know the dynamics, but they go on TikTok and they do their dance, and they were seeing white creators would come in, white creators would come in and steal their creation, and they would make more money, much more money in it, much more money. And it's the same thing with the music, right? With the whole Elvis thing. Elvis sang a lot of music that was already made by black artists, but that he made much more money at it. So yeah, it does matter. It does matter. When you look at a Michael Jordan, it's sad because this guy, he packages himself like he's some type of successful businessman, but he's not. He's not. He doesn't control anything at Nike. And he redid his deal in '97, and they gave him his own shoe line. Nobody buys that shoe line. Team Jordan, don't nobody mess with no Team Jordan. Air Jordan. And that's Phil Knight. Yeah, Mike's on the shoe, but the money goes to Phil Knight. And no matter how he tries to switch it up, he got beat and he's being exploited. And in '97, he should have sat down with his lawyers and told Nike, first of all, I'm gonna go in a different direction and get my own shoe line. That's what he should have did. When he would have look at him now, he'd be making. He probably have about $50 billion in the bank. But instead, he wanted Nike. He wanted to make this man rich, and it ain't no difference. This ain't nothing but tenderism. Ain't nothing but Jordan. He's nothing but a version of Jordan. And we see him hugging that dude. I see the videos over there on Instagram, and he's hugging that man and uh, bouncing around and but jumping up and down and helping that man make a whole lot of money while that man give him a few dollars. And it's the Negro, man. It's always the Negro. And it's like the Negro don't even want to know business. He don't even want to sit down and learn it. That's the Negro wants somebody to give them something. They like children, man. And in certain circles, they've always said that about Negroes. They're de facto children. They're never men because of the way they behave. And they almost treat them like they're children, man. Like they need to be taken care of. He said no one knew Mike would be this good as he was. The show deal was a risk for Nike. Hindsight is 2020. He had his shoes. The creator of the Nike shoe, just like Puma and I think Adidas is German. These shoes go way back, man. I don't know exactly when they started, but like Puma, that's almost like they was playing soccer and stuff like that. So he knew that if he branded that shoe with the NBA and with a guy jumping up and down, it was giving people an example of a tough shoe. You want a shoe that's gonna last. You want a shoe that's durable. You want a shoe, where you spend your money, that shoe is not gonna tear up. You know, look at this NBA player. Are you gonna be like doing what the NBA? Look at he can do, and yeah, and it took off, and it is what it is now. But at the end of the day, it was a bad deal for Mike because he never got his own shoe, and that Craig Hodges guy, he got screwed over. He was trying to help the brother, but he didn't want to listen. That's another thing about the Negro. You can't tell him nothing, especially if you black. Especially as you black, if you black, can't tell a Negro nothing. He don't want to know, not from you. He said Jordan makes a quarter billion a year off Team Jordan alone. Yeah, okay. I don't know who buys Team. Must be somebody overseas. I don't know who buys Team Jordan because we still under that designer and all of that label stuff. That's a big deal to everybody out here. If you go out here on the basketball courts in some Team Jordans, I mean, you can wear what you want to wear. You can wear a potato sack, but as far as the way you're going to be perceived, it's not going to be good, and it's not a win because see, that's what the Nick once again was sharecropping a win. Where the sharecrop when the families they didn't have anything when they said you can move on this plantation, I got 50 acres. It's a house on there. It's two mules on there. There's seed in the barn. Um, you can plant your tomatoes and but you got to pay me back for all of that. I'm gonna charge you for the house. I'm gonna charge you for the land. I'm gonna charge you for the mules. And normal cost is $30 during that period of time, which was a ridiculous amount of money during that period of time. It's $30 to have this, but I'm gonna charge you 100. So you pay me back 100, and then you count it up. You say even if everything goes perfect, it's only going to come out to about $50. So you still owe him 50, and then the next year it repeats. And man, yeah, we're lucky, man. We are lucky to be born now. Man, we're lucky. I'm saying in that whenever you were born, man, you don't know the hell. And see this, and they're getting rid of it now. People just don't know their history, and then a lot of them don't want to know. A lot of them don't want to know. The whole thing with the Tariq and the tethers. He's right. A lot of these people come from foreign countries. They haven't been over here. They don't even know the history of what it was. They walking around talking about slavery. The oppression in America was more than just slavery. If you go and read some of the books, they said after the Civil War, blacks, the plantation, all that stuff was all the slavery stuff, but there's still remnants of it, right? They said there were black families living in trees because they had all types of laws. You couldn't be a vagrant. They put you in jail or they put you back in servitude. And remember, these people couldn't read or write. And these people couldn't count. And it's sad, but it's the truth, man. And you looking at an older man that's 40. He's got 2 kids and a wife. And Mr. Willie, Mr. Charlie, they say, Leon, are you ready to get this sharecropping deal? Take care of your wife and your family? Yes, sir. And other people say, you sure? You sure? I'm charged. You're going to have to pay me back. Now, you got to pay me back. Yes. Sad, man. And they walk right into it, man. Because they didn't have no choice, man. And that's what's unfair about this stuff. They didn't have a choice. They had to feed. The man wanted to squeeze whatever life he had. He squeezed every drop of the little bit of freedom in life he had. He had the freedom to work, the freedom to cobble together a little bit of a family, the freedom to go to the church they let him go to. And that was all he was able to do. He had to pay that man back his money. And he could be the pastor. If he ran off, which is if he left town, which was considered running off, he was a fugitive, runaway slave. And we talk about reparations. Them people, right after the Civil War, they didn't get no type of money. Nothing. They were forced back into slavery. And I think in the southern states, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I think if you doing Civil War, I think that it was like terrorism. I've always said we all don't have a idea of what happened back then, and it's been watered down. And when you talk about politics, they always talking about you trying to make somebody feel guilty. No, we're just talking about what happened. Did these things happen? Well, you trying to make us, you a liberal, you trying to make us feel guilty. They only do that to Negroes. And there's always some coon Negro, the Candace Owens, who co-signed that type of stuff. And it's like you don't know their history. Them people had nowhere to go. And then you look at a Jordan, and he's a basketball player, so he's not, much. What do you expect out of that, huh? You look at Jordan, you look at a guy like Michael Jordan, and he said, I'd rather make Phil Knight rich. And basically what he's telling you, Michael Jordan ain't nothing but a hoe. I'd rather make my pimp rich. Why don't you handle your own affairs? That's okay. I got somebody to do that. And you see it. And see, let me tell you, the people who don't see it, they don't want to see it. They don't want to see it. They don't want to see it. The tenderism, I hate to say it, I don't think he wants to see it. I mean, I don't know how old this guy is, but I don't think he wants to see it. Yeah, and that's another thing. And I say this right here, man, you crazy. At your age to be eating all that cholesterol, man, that's nuts. You shouldn't be eating ribs and shit, man. You not at your age. Every time I see a little commercial, man, he's biting off a piece of a rib or a brisket. You know how unhealthy that is for a man of that age? Say he's too busy for politics. Ain't that something, trooper? And that's how you guys look at, you know, that you the world don't work that way. We see it in the music business. We see it all the time. Now we see it on this social media stuff. Man, you have to get your intellectual property copywritten. You got to handle your business. Business first. We work hard, we play hard, but we do that in that order. It is only the Negro. It's only the Negro. You know, I saw the thing on the schools where the little kids start jumping around. It's like, man, why don't, you know, they should know better than that. A school is not a place to jiggle around and TikTok and you. Hey, this is school. You know, when the school is out, you can go do whatever you want to do. I mean, whatever your parents let you do. And that's why you got the I love speed and you got the canine. He's so weak, the Kai guy. And that's the image of black. Well, I don't even know if you want to call them black men, children, really. I'm just saying their behavior, not their actual age. And that sends such a bad impression. That's a terrible impression. You look at the white kids, they get symbols of Elon Musk and Donald Trump, and these men have power. These men are making empires. They're in charge. They're saying, I don't care about this. I'm gonna do it my way. And I'm in charge. They give the Negro a young boy. It's so and they don't even see it. And then they wonder why they struggle with the business side. They wonder why they struggle with the business side of life. All they want to do is buffoonery. This is what you get. And tenderism, got to give them a pass, man. Mr. Charlie, Mr. Charlie says he trusts Mr. Charlie. He's good white folk. Yeah, he trusts Mr. Charlie. So it ain't no different than Jordan, man. Jordan didn't want to listen. They told him, what, 20 years ago? No, yeah, no, 25 years ago. They told Jordan, get your own stuff. No, I trust Mr. Field. Mr. Field doing done right by me. He gave me, you know, he gave me $2,000. And he was look at him and say, you shake your head and say, man, do you know how much this you have no yeah? And they don't. They don't even have a concept. So blacks are told not to talk to Trump. Well, show me the who's who Show me the black that's going to talk to Trump. And what I mean by that, man is president. And you're talking about in general, and he ain't gonna talk to no. He got well nothing. That's Barb's are going to vote MAGA after clowning Trump for years. Go ahead. It's a free country, but I'm saying people don't have a concept of how lucky they are living in this age. They don't even have a concept of that. They have no idea of the struggle and the way the Negro was very man. They went from slavery to de facto slavery. And then as the country aged, now you got the Roaring Twenties and all of that, and a lot of those blacks were gamblers. They were gamblers. They were hustlers, and they had a black market where there was little speakeasies and places to go, and it blossomed. And where we're at now. And look, in Jordan defense, like I said, he's a basketball player. What the hell do you expect from him? And what he did with the Wizards, look, I don't have no problem with the guy. But when he went to the Washington Wizards and he was terrible, uh, and he just doesn't understand, man. You just can't get the job and think, okay, anybody can do it. No, anybody can't do that job. Did you guys see Indiana? Indiana won the national championship last night. Saghetti, did you see him? 16-0. Put that team together. That's not even a winning team. And it's not getting top-notch recruits like that. He got a lot of recruits other people ignored, overlooked. His defense, his defenders, his line, his offensive line. He went and won a national championship. You know why? He knows how to coach, and he knows how to put a team together. He knows how to hire an assistant coach. He knows this guy is who I need. This guy is who I need. This guy. This is my quarterback. This is what I need. And he's 65 years old, man. And I've never heard of the guy. And I can't even pronounce his name. And his father used to be a coach. His father used to be a coach. But see, that's what I'm saying. Negroes see that and they think anybody can coach. Somebody said Dion. Wow. Wow. Dion got more talent than Indiana. Last year, the team that went undefeated for the Indiana team, Dion had more talent. Alabama had more. Georgia had more talent. They didn't have a better coach. They didn't have a better X's and O's guy. And that's the same thing with Jordan. And I hate to say this about him. I do. I do hate to say this. He went and he tried to be in that front office, man, and them people are businessmen. And they looked at Jordan as he's not good for business, not for Washington. So when he came back, because he was trying to run around, Jordan was trying to run to BT, and he was trying to hop and brag, look at me, I'm an exec. Look at me, I'm an executive. I'm in the front office. And white folks fired that motherfucker. And they had it on ESPN. He was in a Lamb and he was leaving, man. He was mad. They was like, word is Mike's been let go by Washington. Mike came out in a Lamb. And I said, man, talk about entitlement, bro. That is an entitled Negro. And then he went to the Hornets, and what did they do? And he was supposed to be this mastermind at the Hornets, and they went nowhere. Was it? Isn't he still? Is he still there? Now he's in NASCAR. And once again, see, now I haven't even done this one. I haven't even said anything. That is the Negro. What is up with the Negro and the white approval? We might have to do a stream about that. America is something else, bro. You can't. It is a. It is a. It's living in America as a black person is an endeavor. These dudes don't even they forget about their spouses, their children. What is up with this? And look, this white approval. What is up with that? And look, shout out to the divestors. Shout out to the divestors. They have said this. They say y'all be talking about us and Zaddy. She said y'all Negroes, y'all be on at Zaddy worse than us. Now she was obviously trying to do an insult, but man, it's some truth to that. What is up with I'm a NASCAR team? Them white folks ain't thinking about you, man. Man, I can't take it, bro. The same thing with the Beyonce and country music. What's going on? And we talked about the BET, and we know they don't have the other ones. They got they got the BET awards, and we know Zeus finna make some money. If I'm Zeus, I get me a hip hop awards. Shit, I would have had that 3 months ago. Black folks gonna tear the door off the hinges trying to get down there. If I'm Zeus, because Zeus channel ain't got nothing to protect. So Zeus might as well do it. Yeah. Well, he won. I haven't looked at that. Um, he went. I haven't looked at that. His lawyers won a settlement. So good for him, man. That doesn't change anything. That don't change the fact that he made a Phil Knight rich off of his hard work, which is nothing but slavery. It's rerouted. It's not the same exact thing. It ain't no different than sharecropping. Phil Knight is worth 35, 40 billion dollars. Mike's popping around over his little $3 billion. Now, as a black man, you gotta look at the whole picture. I said, man, okay, you got 3 billion, but that dude down the corner right there, he got more than you. And how much does Elon have? Like 400? And you got a tenderism of name instead of the man giving that man the money he's due and owed for what he's done for his business. This man is hugging him and I trust Mr. Charlie. It's like sharecropping all over again. And I think the Negro does that because he tries to play the gospel side because he knows he don't know business. So I just, well, I'm going to let him, God willing, I'm going to trust that he's going to do right by me. Man, you know how many black people in the grave who said that? Bankrupt. So we ain't surprised by tenderism, man. I'm not even going to say it's sad, man. It's like that, man. But you got to have your business, man. Get your business in order. Get your business affairs in order. Don't let think somebody's going to take care of you, man. And I wouldn't have done that if I was him. I wouldn't be up there popping my shoe around, and I wouldn't be tap-toeing and all on the internet tap-toeing for this man's business. I wouldn't have done that. I don't even think those TikTok pages and all these social media pages are even his. I don't think he even has one. But a guy that age probably ain't really on the internet. He probably on his phone, but Man, I would question if he even got a phone. I don't know how old he is, but well, he doesn't look young. How about that? I don't know his age. And he scares me every time he takes a bite of that those the brisket and the rib. He scares me. To watch some old man eat a couple of rib slabs. Yeah, that's because I know what that does, man. That scares me. You have to wonder about that man too. Like, man, what's wrong with you? You too old. You can't eat that. You gonna eat that rib at your age? He said American blacks got a bill why we can't have anything. Somalis rule Minnesota. They have results of our hard work. Well, I don't know if Somalis rule Minnesota. Bruh, let me say something. What is up with MAGA constantly trying to like push an agenda? Like, if black people want to do like Somalis, do it. All they got to do is do it. That's all they got to do. The Somalis who broke the law need to be held accountable, and they need to be the ones who are here illegally need to be deported. The ones who committed the fraud with the businesses and the schools and stuff, they need to stand in judgment. But blacks can do the same thing. Blacks choose not to. See, they know the blacks ain't gonna do that. They just choose not to do it. They choose not to do it. Just like Mr. Tenderism is not trying to do anything about that the man he works with trademarking his saying because he trusts him. There's a video, I seen a video. They're on there hugging each other. That's sad too. And that's how business goes, man. When you look at Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, they all worked at the same place. They could have stayed there and hugged each other. Them white men went and created their own businesses. You with your Macintosh, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Microsoft. They could have they all started out in one company. They could have been buddies. They could have been like like this tenderism guy, like Michael Jordan. They could have been like Michael. See, they're not going to do that. And the company, they started out with the computers, but they saw that what the company was doing. I think it was Hewlett Packard. They saw what the company was doing. They were doing things wrong. And they said, well, I'll start my own company. And I'll do 80% of what I'm already doing, what I already know what to do, but I'm going to change it. Bill said software. He said, we don't need to make a computer. And once we make the computer, you can't upgrade it. You got to like, it's like a TV, you throw it away and then you buy a new TV. He said it's in the software. We make the machine, but then we make the software and we upgrade it. And that's where the money was. And he was right. And Mac never caught on because, Macintosh is for thinkers. All these so called nerds, do you have a Mac? Are you a Macintosh man, Mr. Nerd? You can't say you're a nerd and you don't have a Mac. If you want Yeah, you can't claim to be a nerd and you don't have a Mac. You walking around with a Hewitt Packard Microsoft computer. To be a nerd, you got to have a Mac. Those are nerds. But that is the Negro, man. And they want to live their life through Jordan. They want the white man to take care of them. You see that they're completely ignorant to history. They think history of black people is just slavery. They think the history of oppression is slavery. It's so much after that, after the Civil War, and they blind themselves to that. And we talked about it over here. We said Disney and the banned films and Song of the South, a film about an old slave who was allowed to live in like a shed on a man's property. He was asexual. He didn't have a wife. He didn't have kids. He wasn't trying to get those things. He was sleeping in a shed. And he was basically there in exchange. He took care of the animals. He fixed stuff in exchange for room and board. And they fed him through the back porch. If he ate, through them, he didn't eat in the kitchen with them. He ate in that movie. They feed him. She hands a plate of food, and I don't even think that was real. I don't even think they could do that. And the NAACP and all these people got together. What's up with you, Shaka? Shaka said he's a Mac man. The NAACP and all these civil rights group got together, and that was Disney. And they bowed to it, and they banned Song of the South. And I actually like the movie, but I do get their point. They said that he was a stereotype, old dusty Negro sleeping in a shed with no desire to do it, not to be a man. He wasn't. That's what they're saying. He wasn't a man. They said, what man wants to just live his life in a shed, singing with the animals, zippity doo dah, zippity yay. I think that's where that song came from. You guys have never seen the movie. It's been banned. You can find it, but you've never seen it. And Dumbo, they got rid of Dumbo because of the Negro. They said that there was a nigger, which I don't know how he's a black man, but some kind of way people said that that was a black man. I've never seen Dumbo. Dumbo. Oh, I see. You see what I'm saying? Look at the name. Look at the name. See what I'm saying? The racial implications. Look at the name. Look at the name. Look at the name. Look at the name. Banned. I think they was trying to get Gone with the Wind out of here, which is a excellent film. Excellent film. Exceptional film. If you was to say what are the best movies in the 1900s, Gone with the Wind would be top 3. It encompassated so much of America. It was so well written and well acted. And if you paid attention, it was such a wonderful lesson. It wasn't just entertainment. It was entertaining, but there's a lot of education in that film. And when I saw it the first time, I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe I had slept on this movie. I wasn't, yeah, I'm like, man, I'm Gone with the Wind. Nah, I ain't feeling that, man. Good flick though. He said they got rid of Dumbo because of the crows. Okay. Not the elephant. Yeah, yeah, them crows were talking like minstrels, weren't they? I think you can see that you can go on YouTube and look at that. But this is where, and and when you look at Mr. Tenderism, whether he likes it or not, he falls right into that stereotype of a Negro who don't want to do the business side. He don't want to do the paperwork. He falls right in that side of the Negro who don't want to do the paperwork. The Negro who wants to go play basketball, but he don't want to read his contract. The Negro who wants to rap, but he don't want to read his contract. You have to read the contract. You got to read the fine print. And if Bill Gates was like the Negro, he would have never went forward with Microsoft. He would have stayed. He'd be retiring right now. He's a company man. He would have stayed right there. I had to go look it up. I think it was Hewlett Packard, but he would have stayed right there with Hewlett Packard and retired after 30 years. Got his money and left. No, him and Jobs broke out. They got away from. They said, okay. They saw that this invention of this computer. We've created a computer, and Hewitt was such a big company. They didn't know. They just did it. The PC. I think you can see advertisement for a PC in the early '80s, and I think they were going about 5,000, but they had no power. They had no like a RAM. I don't even have like it was. You had to go look it up. It was so small, and it was, but it was for people with money, and it was no internet, so it was just by itself. But you could print some stuff. You had to print documents. It was if you worked there somewhere, and you could go home, take the job home. You could knock out work at the house to lighten your load. And they were sort of marketing it that way. Gates, Storm thought about it and said, wait a minute, this thing can do so much more. This thing can do so much more. And they left and they created their own stuff. And look at them now. I think the Gates is way up there. But I didn't even he didn't even do it for money. I mean, he did it. Obviously, he did it for money, but that wasn't his only reason. He wanted to make a difference. And once again, the Negro, you see what I'm saying? The Negro don't see his life as a opportunity to make a difference. He thinks he just wants to get on here and toe tap and get exploited. He say he got a Dumbo plush. His grandmama bought him, keeping it because of her. There's a lot of Disney in cartoons. There's a lot of racism in cartoons. If you're offended by it, you know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of it. I don't know if it's. I don't know. I'm a different person. I guess if you were born during that time, it's pretty offensive because you got to live in that society. And but I'm saying it's just a cartoon. Slavery rerouted all over again. And to a certain degree, the internet, they can say what they want, but it's gonna he's gonna have to do it, and he's not gonna do it, man. He's not gonna start his own business. He's not gonna fight for the copyright. He gets a certain amount of joy cutting a jig, and I guess he underestimates his popularity because big name people, they like him and they wanna say hello to him, and so but he's a classic, just the Uncle Ruckus. Is it Uncle Ruck? I'm trying to think the character from, uh, Gone with the was it Uncle Ruckus? Let me see, hold up. Gone Song of the South, hold up. Is it Uncle Ruckus? 1946. Uncle Remus, that's his name, Uncle Remus. Yeah, he was, a single man living in a shed, and he would go with the little boy who was, I think it was either his dad had either died or there was a divorce, and he was a grown ass man, I'd say 40, and her new man and the little boy, they didn't like well, the man was trying, but the little boy didn't like him because he was the new guy, he wanted his father, and I seen the movie, and she was like he would try to say, "Hey, hey, Billy, you wanna go throw a baseball? Let's go outside." And he said, "Nah, nah, not right now. Not right now." And then he went in a room and talked to his wife, or man, yeah, I think that was his wife. And she said, "Just give him time. Just give him time. You're a good man. He'll get to know you." And the little boy was out, and then he saw Remus. He was out, and yet now he was finna jump a fence, and then Remus said, "Hey!" And the little boy stopped. And he said, "Don't go in there. That's a bull in there." And he said, "Don't ever go in here with this bull." And then that's when they met each other. And he was like, he talked to him, and he was like, ah. And then that's when he started singing. And that's what the thing was, a old Negro living in the shed that walked around singing, talking about Brer Rabbit and Zippity Doo Dah and all of that. And the NAACP's biggest problem was he didn't have a wife, and he wasn't pursuing a wife. He didn't really have a job. They were paying him in corn cobs and fish sticks, and he had one change of clothes, and he was almost childlike, and they took that off, and Disney buckled. Disney took it down. They said, "No." They said, "This is harmful for blacks, it's harmful for the image of blacks." He said, "I need a copy of them." Well, you can get a copy of them over there on, eBay. It's a lot of them over there. So, they selling them. Some dude out of Canada. And then when you talk about kids, man, do they even pick that stuff up just like they do with Sponge and stuff? They got SpongeBob, they have all types of adult things that you could say shouldn't be there. But Tenderism, and I don't know if he's been fired because There's no, other than a rumor, there's nothing out there that they say that Tenderism has been fired. But if he fires a man, I mean, what's he gonna do for he gonna do it? He's gonna be the one on there screaming up and down. But this is also when you look at Jordan and you look at this guy, and look, yeah, Jordan won his legal suit. Jordan did win that. But when you look at these Negroes, they gotta be a man. You gotta be a man, man. You gotta do like a Bill Gates. You gotta strike out on your own. Yeah, you could be a company man, work there 30 years and quit. I mean and retire. But when you have ideas and you want to make your mark, you got to take a chance. And that's what Bill and Steve Jobs did. And they created some jobs with the arcade. He was real central with arcade games. He was putting arcade games out. He took it to you went from pinball, which is okay. I haven't met pinball machine. Yeah, well, now you're talking about something you haven't played, in like forever. They actually got some good pinball machines though. It depends on the machine. They have some good ones. But Steve put out some amazing video games at a time when everybody was doing pinball machines. He had one called, you guys wouldn't know, it's called Battle Zone, but you wouldn't know. I think he put Tron out too. I think, I don't remember. I don't know. But yeah, the Negro, they look at a Jordan and they try to make a comparison of Jordan to a Jobs or a Gates or a Elon or a Trump. Man, Jordan ain't got no power, man. Jordan ain't got no power. He just got some money. And he's down there chasing white acceptance. And there's nothing wrong with getting the acceptance of everybody, your fellow man. But, he's chasing white acceptance. And Negro, and that's once again, why you think they want to see this movie Sinners, right? They should have the Screen Actors Guild, right? They already screwed them with their Globes. They only won like two. So they got the Screen Actors Guild. Wait a minute, maybe they've already had that, the SAG, right? But the movie Sinners, right? What if it don't win at the Oscars? What if it doesn't get a nomination? How come you can't just like the movie? You like it, black people like it, it'll win a BET award. How come that can't be good enough? When you think about it, why? Why can't that be good enough? Why is it so important that the white man pats you on your head? And we haven't made it to that point, but we're going to see that, right? I don't think the Oscars have announced their nominations. That's coming forward. He said some black people, specifically black women, love the color purple. It's straight poison toward black people's minds. And the NAACP was against it, even protesting its release. Yeah, it was a bad. It wasn't a good. It was, first of all, the depiction, and we know this now from Alice Walker. What she, first of all, it wasn't true. Can we begin there? Can we just begin there? It wasn't true. Black men did not have the leverage to behave like white men. And we look at our society now. The country was governed heavily by Christian principle. Heavily. That's why you see them in church. You had to go to a church. You couldn't come there, get a home, and you don't go to church. You don't know your neighbor. You could they that was on you you they the people had to know you. And black men just did not have the power to act like white men. So the movie, from that standpoint, the way it attacked black men, that was wrong. And and was it? I don't even remember their names, but one of them got kicked off the plantation, and she runs down the road, and some kind of way she makes it to Africa. That would go against the tether thing. When she makes it to Africa and has a family, and then in the last 2 minutes of the movie, Danny Glover has a revelation. He, I think he bought her there or something, like in the last 2 minutes of the movie. But I did like that Oprah part where Oprah put that blade to his. And I don't even like Oprah, but when that's about, yeah, I like that though. She did pretty good in that movie though. To MJ giving back, he opened up medical clinics in low income communities in a few North Carolina cities. Good for Michael Jordan, but that doesn't change the fact he doesn't own his shoes. He does not have creative control. He does not have full ownership, and he has zero influence with Nike. And I think you Negroes don't like that. I think you Negroes want to believe a lie about Jordan. I think this is an ego thing with you Negroes. I think a lot of you Negroes want to live through Jordan's accomplishments and try to pretend some kind of way uh, he's doing what he's supposed to do. I disagree. He's not. He's not. Phil Knight is proof of that. And at some point, just like Bill Gates, just like Steve Jobs, you got to take a chance, man. You got to believe in yourself and you got to take a chance. Both of those men did. And they did that, what, in the 80s? What was that, 78, 79? They did that in the 80s, man. Created all of these video games and they saw computers. They saw what a computer could do and they broke away and they went and they created this stuff. And they said we can the TV screen and the keyboard and put and the interface and they put all of that together. They changed everything. They trademarked the language. And that if they would have been like Jordan, they'd still be working at Hewlett Packard. They would have both retired. Well, one of them. The other one, he got sick. Well, he's passed away. But they would have retired, and they would have, we wouldn't know what Microsoft is. That was never been created. We would have been a less of a society. We would have been less. And when you look at Michael Jordan, we're less because of him. Black people are less because of him. All of this, he sued, he won. He gives some people some food stamps. That ain't enough. That's not enough. That's back when we were colored, man. When we were colored, we were just a different people, man. And that's why a lot like the song of the South. Get that stuff out of here. Don't nobody want to see a Negro, 40-year-old Negro singing songs and playing with, you know, what I don't even know what those there's cartoons in that movie. Also, the husband, this is what happens, right? The new guy, and it's classic. He's trying to win over the affection of the kid, and the kid doesn't like him. And he keeps trying, and the kid keeps not wanting him to do it. And the mom is trying her best to get them to know each other. And the kid meets Uncle Remus, and Uncle Remus, you know, he sings songs and dances, and he's really never seen an adult act like that. And the kid falls in love with Uncle Remus. And the guy gets jealous and he kicks Uncle Remus off off the, he kicks him off the out on that lot of land or whatever. He kicks him off, and Uncle Remus is seen. He had that little stick with that little blanket with his only his belongings, and and she said, "Where you going, Uncle Remus?" He said, "Missy, I gotta go." And she said, "Where you going?" He said, "Wherever the Lord wants me to go." And he just started walking. I said, "Man, hell no, fuck that, man. Get an Uber or something." Anyhow, the little boy, and you got to see the movie. You got to see the movie. it's actually a it's actually a family. If you have kids, man, show it to your kids. It's actually not a bad story. I get it though. I see why the whole concept. We're just a different people, man. We had higher standards. And like you said, the crows, they got rid of that because of the crows. They were offended by that. He said, "Well, yeah, how would Uncle Remus pay for an Uber? He didn't have a credit card." And to some degree, what you're really seeing is some embarrassment because a lot of black people on TikTok and the guy with Keith Lee and all of these guys are sort of embarrassed that the black man in this day and age, 2026, is still, tap dancing and bojangling for a couple of bucks, man. When he can just start his own thing. And see, this is the major point too. If he was to leave Destination Smokehouse and buy his own smokehouse, um, the guy who runs Destination, if he's a businessman, he's supposed to support that. He's supposed to support that. He's supposed to say, "Hey, man, yeah, it's your moment now. I support you, man. Go and open up. Matter of fact, I know some. Here's my suppliers. If I can help you, let me know." Ain't supposed to get in his feelings. Oh, you finna leave? So you finna just get up out of here? He ain't supposed to do that. See, that's what I'm saying. That's not a person that's your friend. And see, he's got to test that relationship with that white man. Instead of hugging him and squeezing him, he needs to say he's leaving to see what he says. Does he support you? If you go out and you get your own business and you create and you build, and that man stands by you and supports you, that is your friend. That is a true friend. A guy who gets in his feelings, gets mad, goes and copyrights your saying, tells you can't be saying it, you can't be saying tenderism. Then that dude was never your friend, man. That dude was never on your side. He never wanted you to win. And then you look at Phil Knight, and see, this is when Negroes get mad. When I look at this, I see Phil Knight. I said, man, that man got so much money off of Jordan. And I said, what about Jordan? I said, you Negroes always talking about Jordan. I'd rather, what about Phil Knight? That's the man who making the bag. Michael Jordan working in the business he built. And then to throw insult, I said, maybe he's slick hating. Because when you think about it, I said, he's sort of slick hating Jordan because Jordan's not on the board of directors. And you go look at the Nike board of directors. Some people ain't no brainiacs. Them just regular dudes. They have the educational background. But if he wanted to put Jordan on the board of directors, he could. He doesn't. See, that show he's doing that on purpose to show the world what he thinks of Mike. Yeah, they got a business relationship and all of that. But he's like, that Negro don't run nothing over here. Just like the NBA did him. They said, yeah, he can come over here and we can make some money off of him selling shoes and bringing people into the arena, but he ain't going to be making no decisions. They do the Negroes like that in the draft. They said, well, they ain't going to be able to draft. They did that to Mike Tomlin. We make the draft. We make these decisions. There's even belief that Mike couldn't even bench a player. Now, this is Ben Roethlisberger time because, man, you were talking about somebody who need to get benched. I think Mike said, I don't have the authority to bench a player. Because, see, there was conversations of why he wouldn't do it. It's like this man just throwing interceptions just interception, loss, interception. And it was like, why don't you bench him? And I think he said he didn't have the authority to do that. They got a little money, but they had no power. These Negroes don't have any power. What's up with you, JR?
Flat, what's going on, man?
What's up with you?
Man, I'm trying to see where you're going with this, man. You talking about the power of what the power of innovation? I mean, what are we talking about, man? Talking about black people being innovative? I mean,
Tenderism. The guy who owns the steakhouse has decided to copyright the term. And there's belief that he fired Unc. So if Unc ventures out and starts his own smokehouse, which I doubt, but let's go with that he's doing it, he won't be able to use the term tenderism.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting within itself. I mean, there's been claims of the word being trademarked already by a black man here in North Carolina. That's a pit master, got his own spot, been out here queuing for at least over a decade. So I don't know the specifics of the dispute over the trademark word of tenderism, but from what I've read about, it says that the black man here in North Carolina, he did trademark the name. I want to say it was like in 2024, somewhere around that time, he trademarked the name. Or maybe it was even earlier than that, but he trademarked the name.
I saw something on that. There's a attorney. She went and got the paperwork. She said the dispute was when he trademarked, it put to be determined or like in the future. So
Yeah,
it wasn't now. It wasn't trademark it for now. It was in the future.
Yeah.
And this destination wanted it now.
Yeah.
And she said the only person who can truly get if the only person who can get that trademark is him because he created it. He has proof he created it and it's his. But if he doesn't say, I want it, then the courts will decide. And the other guy, once again, he's got it, but it's not where he's getting any money or anything like that off it.
Yeah, because I want to say what I was reading about the guy, and I hate saying the guy. I wish I could give that black man credit. I'll look his name up later on, but the person that first trademarked the tenderism catchphrase, when he did it for like apparel and stuff like that, you know, for his like smokehouse brand or his barbecue brand or whatever the name of his establishment was. He like trademarked it for that. He didn't trademark it for like just specific use of the word. It was more like apparel and stuff like that from what I was reading. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's still, you know, it's still worth the legal battle, you know, within itself. So you know, I'm sure he probably has an attorney looking into it, like you said. You know, some attorney already kind of looked into it, but we'll see where it goes, man. But it's interesting that the name was trademarked, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it was more so around apparel and things like that, and not specifically the namesake itself.
Why do you think Michael Jordan never uh, walked away from Nike and started his own company?
Uh, I mean, look, in some form he did with Brand Jordan, but I mean,
That's still Nike.
yeah, I mean it's still under Nike. I mean it's a subsidiary under Nike, under the umbrella of Nike. But that's why I say in some form he did, because you got to think like, all right, if we're gonna go and say, all right, well just start your own company, you know, stuff like that. You gotta be in with manufacturers. You gotta like all of that stuff has to come apart. Now, some people may say, well, he got a lot of money and a lot of namesake, so it should be easy for him to walk in these spaces and stuff like that. It's still difficult. You know, your skin tone, your complexion still will get you checked at the door. You know,
Yeah,
so
but no. Maybe Jordan don't know what he's doing. Hey,
I,
hold up. No. How come we can't come to that? What he doesn't. He's a
what you mean?
basketball player. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's not a businessman.
Yeah, but at this point, Platt, you asked me the question as to why. I mean, I gave you my reasoning or my at least thought process of as to why, right? But you got to think. You said he's not a businessman; he's a basketball player. But you could hire people at that point. You've made enough money where you could hire somebody. Hey, this is what I want to do, and I need people. You hire people that are in that
Talking
arena
like, talking
to
like the way
see your vision through the finish line.
he's been hired.
I mean, he was an athlete. He was
Yeah,
coming to
yeah.
the
So I'm
table
saying
for talent only.
you do what Phil Knight did to him, hire you, give him no power. Like if Jordan started his own company, like you said, he would have to hire a CEO, hire people to run his company.
Yeah,
But them
I mean
people
that.
ain't gonna have then. But that's his company. Them people don't can't influence. They can't tell him how to run his company, and they probably won't have no real power at his company.
Yeah, they won't have no real power, but that's what I'm saying. Like he could have
Okay,
did
but look
that.
at how much
I
money
don't know
Jordan. Look at how
why
much
though.
money Jordan has made for this man. An insane amount of money, billions and billions, and he won't get that man. And let's also say Jordan don't want it. He won't let Jordan have a seat at the table. And what I mean by what would he do there? He don't understand what it is to be a part of the board of directors. Now, let me say this right here. Why is the Negro so bothered by that? Because see, that's what I'm saying. The ego, the whole ego thing, just deal with the truth. The man ain't a businessman. He
I, I,
ain't. And I said ain't. Go
I
ahead.
wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say he's not a businessman, Platt. Look, look, capitalism. We know America runs off capitalism. So is he the top businessman? No, but he is a businessman. Now he has his own brand. He is his own board of director for his own company now. Yes, it falls under the umbrella of Nike, but he makes a decision for Brand Jordan. He's running that. Now, if Nike want to come in and squash it and be like, nope, we ain't doing this, we're not doing that, we're not doing this, Nike would be a fool because Nike would then lose money. So he making decisions on how he wants the brand to be portrayed and stuff like that. Jordan get to make those decisions about Nike. Now
I don't think so.
he
I don't
put
think
it
he
in.
can. I think that he
Yeah,
has.
He is.
I don't think Michael Jordan is has any power over Team Jordan.
Nah, man.
No, because in business, man, that's a big deal. In business, seats of power,
Yeah,
seats,
man.
seats of power is big.
He has a seat at the table. Now, what I will say to your point is Jordan acting in good faith of Phil Knight? Absolutely. Because if Jordan go out there and all of a sudden, let's say he started beating on his wife or he got some type of Diddy situation going on, yeah, he could be rolled up in the whole situation too and be like, yep, you know what? We're going to cut this whole brand Jordan situation, blah, 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 whatever like that. But just because you're not the head guy, don't mean that you can't not make moves. Jordan made moves for himself. He went from a player to a CEO of his brand. He's trailblazed for other athletes. He got the most popular logo right now in sports history. He has the most popular logo. He has it. That's in that. Whether you want to admit it or
Okay, but
not,
no, that's your
that's
ego. This is your
influence within
no.
itself,
This is
man.
Are you you're a Jordan fan?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up on
Yeah,
Michael Jordan.
that's
I
your
did.
ego. That's your
I
ego.
grew up on Michael Jordan. I mean, but
No, this is your ego because you're not even being rational now.
I'm not
That
going to
stuff you're
deny his
talking about means
influence.
nothing. That stuff you're talking about means nothing. He don't have any power. And the thing about look at Diddy, he don't have no power. Diddy offered them people $50 million to get out when and like before his trial. And they said no. 50 million. They said no. He don't have
Yeah,
no power.
I mean,
No,
you
he
got a
don't have
criminal case against you. You can't just you can offer whatever. He could have offered $1 billion. They would have said no. You got a criminal case against you. It is what it is. If Elon Musk goes to jail, you could theorize and say, oh, he'll be able to buy off people and stuff like that. If he goes to
he knows.
jail for criminal acts, there's no amount of money that will get him out of the criminal
Okay,
acts.
are you
He
ready?
could prolong the
Let me
criminal
know.
uh uh arraignment, but it's not going to get him out of the act itself, especially if you got footage of it, tape of it. It's not going to get you out of the act.
Elon Musk, if say he went to Minnesota and he's going out to eat and he punches somebody and it's on tape, and say the guy looked at him, they don't know what was said, and he's popped the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then and they filed charges and all of that. Elon wouldn't be he wouldn't have to be he would never be held accountable for that.
That's a misdemeanor, though, Platt. I can go out and punch some random civilian. That's a misdemeanor charge. I'll be home by the end of the night. If I walked out of my house right now, drove to Publix, walked in there and just punched the cashier in the face, boom, and stood there, wait for the police to take me down and book me, I would be home by the end of the night. It's Tuesday, so it ain't no
Yeah, no,
weekend. I don't have to wait
well,
for no lawyer. I mean, I don't have to wait
but
for no
you would
judge or
still have to
nothing.
go
The
to
judge is
court.
already there. I'll be home by the night.
But you would still have to go to court.
Yeah, Elon would still
Okay.
have to go to court
No,
too.
no, he wouldn't. See, that's one of my whole point. No, he wouldn't.
Yes,
No, he
Platt.
knows too many people. No, he just knows too many people.
That don't get you. If you commit a crime, you still have to go to court. Now, if the person that got punched, the victim, if they want to settle out of court, which would probably be the smart thing for them to do, then that's up to the person that got punched in the face to be like, yeah, I'm gonna take a settlement. I would take the settlement too. I would not risk going to court, being tied up in litigation over a misdemeanor. If Elon Musk decided to punch me in the face, I'm gonna say how much he willing to pay me to not have this tied up in litigation. And if whatever my selling point is, 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, that's nothing to him. He'll write it off. All right, cool. I get $5 million and move on by my business. So that's what he would pay for. He would pay that person. He still had to go to court. They would put him in cuffs, arrest him, and take him to jail. And then it's up to the
No, no.
person that got punched to continue on with, wanting to submit a
Who,
case
who,
against him.
who has more power, Jordan or Elon Musk?
Come on, Platt. What? We can't do that, man.
Well, no,
I'm
he's
asking you a
hold on,
question.
hold on. What
I'm asking
he's
you a
the
question. You
owner
can't do that.
of the Hornet. He worked in the front office of the Wizards. He's got a NASCAR team. He sells all these sneakers. Who has more power, Elon Musk or Michael Jordan?
I'm gonna answer your question, but that's crazy comparison. But I'm gonna answer your question. Elon Musk. Now
Okay, well there you go. Hey, hold
some
up.
would say Elon Musk got more power than the president of the United States. He's the president, and people are saying Elon Musk got more power than Donald Trump. We
You think
talked
you?
about this, Platt.
Hold on. Oh no, you think so?
I know so.
No, he
What did
doesn't.
his son?
He doesn't.
What did Elon Musk's son tell Trump in that Oval Office?
Yeah,
What did
but
he tell him?
he doesn't
Talk
have
about
more
it, Platt.
power than he doesn't have more power than Trump.
Oh yeah, he does, man. He does.
No, he doesn't.
He does.
Hold up for a minute. This dude. Let me see. What's up, bro?
Hey man, what's going on, man?
What's up? What happened last night? You tried to come up here?
Bro, cause the thing wasn't working, bro.
Oh, it kept kicking you back?
It can't, like, I couldn't hear you guys, like,
Okay.
and I was trying to speak on it, I kept dropping off, and I think he got agitated and he was trying to threaten to ban me, but yeah, I was having problems with that, bro. I just don't understand, man, because I just want to interject on the topic, but today you're talking about a whole different topic in terms of this whole Jordan thing. But Jordan had an opportunity to buy Nike shares back in the I think 90s or 80s. Man, if he took them Nike shares, man, he'd be more richer than he is right now. Way more.
Let me ask you, Buck, do you think, because we got to get our egos out of this stuff, do you think black men understand business? Now, hold on, before you answer, I'm talking about these guys, they whining about contracts. They sign these contracts. Who's that? Megan Thee Stallion is whining about her contract. You got niggas on the internet
Wow,
whining
Platt.
about their contract, right? Do you think, I'm saying in general, do you think black people understand business?
I mean, it comes from environment and the environment you're raised on. Like if you raised in the hood and it's like, and you become a sports athlete, you go 0 to 100 real quick, right? And you never took any college classes on finances and all that. So it's like you're not gonna know how to handle money, right? Where compared to like other folks, they kind of came from a upper middle class background, and when they become millionaires and billionaires, they already had that knowledge prior. You see what I'm saying? Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but Jordan came from a lower class or up middle class background, so
Yeah,
he
about
didn't
middle
have
class.
that kind of
Yeah, it
knowledge.
was middle class. Yeah.
He was more middle class. Okay, so I would say it's more dependent on the environment you came from. So like if you come from an environment where they're not, I mean, in schools right now, they're not even teaching you financial independence. You see what I'm saying? Most people don't know about financial independence until they start reaching their mid 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s. You see what I'm saying?
Well, do you agree with Dame Dash? And I'm not saying I'm not saying you should agree with anything he said.
That's a terrible example, Platt.
No, I'm just saying he accused the Breakfast Club. You niggas don't know nothing about money. And now I get it on face. That's like an insult. But I say, you know what, man? I rarely agree with this guy. But I say he's right. I say they don't realize how money operates. They think money's just there to be spent. You got it. I'm gonna go buy me a chain with it. And it's so much more you can do with money. Now I don't know if he was practicing what he was preaching, but he was actually right.
In theory, yes. His words were right, but his actions didn't align with his words. Dame Dash thought he was always the smartest person in the room, and obviously he was not. He was not, because if you were the smartest person in the room all the time, you wouldn't be broke now. So Dame Dash went into those rooms with executives from companies that he's trying to borrow capital money from. He's trying to borrow money from a company to uplift his brand. You think you're going to go in there and talk to people that you're trying to get money from however you want to? That's a one-trick pony. You can do that when your namesake is hot. Your namesake ain't hot no more. It means nothing.
Well,
Nobody
I
want to
follow
take a
you, but
meeting with Dame Dash.
yeah, okay, and I agree with you on that, but we really weren't trying to. Well, I'm saying he said it. I'm not saying that he's living what he's saying, but do you think the Breakfast Club, when you look at them people, do you think they understand money?
Yeah, I think they understand money.
Oh, come on, man, you joking?
Yeah, I mean, my question to you, Platt, would be, what's the level of understanding of money? Like, I get it. We want everybody to be the top dog, but everybody's not the top dog. So where do
Just
you
just
fit
Larry,
in?
just Larry knows what to do with money.
Yeah.
She knows about investments.
I mean, I don't know her personally, but I would probably say she does have some level of understanding when it comes to investment. Investments span a lot of things.
She knows
Investments,
about real estate.
probably to a certain degree.
She no, she knows,
And look, and if you don't know, I'm not saying you need to know the whole book of it, but that's when you hire someone that's smarter than you in that to say, you know what, I don't know all of this. I want to learn it. Now, if you just throwing your money into the situation, like, look, just take care of it for me, I don't want to know about it, then that's dumb on you. But if you want to put your money in real estate and then you're having somebody manage your real estate, then you need to have an understanding of that too. So you can account for where your money is going.
they don't know anything about money.
I mean,
Look, they only know that's money. I want to buy me a gold chain. I want to buy me a car. That's all they know. They don't know anything about money. They don't know about investing. They don't know how to uh, borrow against the investment. They don't know about equity. They don't know how to any of that. Yeah. They don't know, man, and they don't. And it's like we get caught up in our ego. And I'm saying as a collective, as Black people, we don't want to hear that because we don't like hearing that. Well, why don't they learn about money? Why don't Jordan get his own business? Why doesn't Mr. Tenderism file his copyright? But it's almost like we want to take care of these grown-ass people like they're kids. Tenderism is a grown-ass man. If he want to be manipulated and used, that's his fault. The people back in the day didn't have a choice. Tenderism has a choice. He don't need to be hugging that dude. Wait a minute, man, it's business.
Tenderism, like what, 70-something years old? Come on, Platt.
He don't need to be hugging all on that man. He don't need to be hugging on that brother. You hear me, JR?
Sometimes.
What's up with you, Mel?
Sometimes people hug you. I think the man.
Hold on, Mel. JR.
I hear you, Platt. I was helping my wife get some groceries out of the car.
I'm sorry about that. Go ahead, Mel. Go ahead.
I think the man hugged Tenderism. I don't think Tenderism hugged him. You know how somebody just walk up and hug you? You didn't invite it. You weren't looking for it, but they just, they just hug you. I think that's the picture that was caught. I don't see Tenderism wrapping his arms around his brother, this man or whomever. I think man hugged him. So I don't understand why you making it seem like, Tenderism is all tender.
I don't have no idea what you're talking about, Melon.
Back at you, Platt.
Well, okay, well, we're both confused.
Yeah. When it comes
to how come Mr. Tenderism won't go and file for his copyright?
He didn't believe in himself. He wasn't financially astute enough to do that. When somebody believes in themselves, they study up on what reinforces what it is to believe in themselves. apparently he didn't believe enough in himself to study what it takes to advance what he has, which is financial literacy, protecting his brand. Like if he thought he just made something up, but he didn't actually look at how it's something that can go on into infamy. It can go on and on and on. You know, some people just don't believe in themselves. Like
Well,
they'll draw a piece of artwork and they won't protect it. But next thing you know, somebody's got prints and copies and they're selling, but they're not giving the original artist claim on it. So a lot of people need to believe enough in themselves to protect their intellectual property. You have to do that.
I got you, man. I
Does
got
that
you.
make sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
What's up with you, K Rex?
What's up with y'all? How
What's
y'all
up?
doing? Nah, play. I agree. When you talk about the dude and the whole tenderism thing, I don't think it's what you like. Okay, when it comes to like the copyright thing, I agree with you. I definitely agree with that part. But I don't think he shouldn't be able to contact with white people. Like I don't. It's not that deep.
You
Play.
shouldn't do what?
Like make contact with white people. Like how you say he was hugging them, or the dude was hugging them.
Oh, okay. Well, I
But
mean, he can hug who he wants. I was just saying, it's business out here, and too many times the Negro don't understand. It's the same thing with these rappers. You see these rappers, they'll sign a 3-year deal,
yep.
and then they'll start whining about their contract. And even I had to go back to my man Prince. You know, why these guys be whining about don't sign the contract?
Yeah, they be signing them 360 deals and then they
Mm-hmm.
get back and then them niggas be all fucked over. Well, excuse my language, but yeah, they come back and they start complaining, but you gotta read. It's important, like that's why I said earlier in the stream plat, it's important to read. Like being simple stuff like that. You reading books, having knowledge about certain things is important. That's why you brought up like the song of the South earlier. I started laughing because I was like, damn, I need you took it back. You took it back. Like niggas don't even know about that shit, Plat. Niggas don't even know about that. You ask a nigga now, they be like, song of the South, what's that?
You know, another thing that you all brought up, which is good, a good teachable moment is give it a day. Take that contract, go get whatever lawyer you're gonna get, have them read it over for you. It might cost you a grip to have that done, but a lot of people, when they are sitting in that chair presented with this contract, they will pressure them to sign it now. And that's where a lot of so really whenever you're in a situation where you're presented with a contract, it could be something as simple as get free, I don't know, free ceiling fan, not ceiling fan, but for instance, if a company knocks on the door of an elderly person and tells them, guess what? Because you're elderly, you can get free solar panels on your already paid for house by the government. They just seduce them with this, but you got to sign now type of thing. And what
Yeah.
they don't realize and what they're signing, they signed over their house, right? And it's the same thing with these 360 deals. Those people who are crying about it now,
Uh-huh.
they were pressured to sign right then and there in the seat. I would advise people, if you ever are in a situation where you're pressured to sign right now, be skeptical.
Yeah.
Pause for the cause.
I think
Uh,
when it comes, oh, go ahead, Plat, my bad.
no, I'm gonna say a lot. That's actually, I think you can get out of that though if you're an older person, senior, and somebody comes in and gets you to do something like make a bad decision with your money or your home, you just need to go get some type of help, legal service, and they'll probably put them people in jail if they're trying to do it because they probably done it to somebody else. So they'll lock them up for that because there's always been a problem. Seniors are vulnerable, but this tenderism dude, he deserves to be
He's a
compensated.
senior.
He deserves to be compensated. But if the internet says he does, and the internet says we'll support you, and the internet says we thought you owned it, and the internet says the only reason we coming down there is for you, but he doesn't get his own place. He doesn't put the paperwork in to get a copyright. Instead, he sits there and hugs Mr. Charlie. Um, that's on him, and you can only help him so much. And but it sparks my interest with the Negro because the Negro does this all the time. It didn't start with Mr. Tenderism. It's not going to end with him. Just like the Bill Gates. I said, when you look at the white community, look at Rob Storm and Bill Gates. Look at the way they worked for the company and they saw the potential. They both did, and they went and did their own thing. They went and created. They could have worked there 35 years and got the gold watch and went home. The men went out and they created. You don't see that with guys like Michael Jordan. And see, Mike wants to be like that, but he's not a risk taker. He wants to be one. And then you look at what is this, NASCAR? What is that? So you get the white man to pat you on your head. See, Bill Gates didn't leave his company and start his own company so that platinum patted him on his head. Neither did Steve Jobs. They don't even exist. And the whole point with the Negro in America, it is a psyop because look at what it does to the Negro. I mean, they just get exploited. Michael Jordan done made this man so much money. He done made this man so much money. This tenderism guy, he done put this Destination Smokehouse on the map. And this is what these Negroes do, man. And all Mr. Tenderism wants to do is hug. Hug me. And that's the same thing your pit bull wants.
Well, Platt, I'll say this, Platt. I'll say this with him. I look because with everything you got to look at different perspectives. We not like okay with him. I trust me. I 100% get what you saying, but he's up there in age, so maybe he looking at it like okay. I realistically, I don't have too much time on this earth left to really build what he might want to build. So like he might not be looking that deep into it. And I'm not saying he shouldn't. I'm definitely not saying he shouldn't, but he's up there in age compared to when you talking about Jordan and LeBron, like that's totally different. And see, when it comes to the black community, it's just a whole bunch of ignorance. That's what we gotta work on. The ignorant we have made ignorance almost like a like I saw this post on like Instagram the other day. It was like when we catch somebody reading books. Nigga was reading and it was like, yo, what you doing reading? Like we can't be doing stuff like that, Platt. Like we gotta
What that happened to your household?
no. It was a post I'm talking about.
Oh,
It was a post I seen. But that's true though. Like it's true.
no,
Like
that's not true. I've never seen that in my life.
no,
No,
I mean no.
no,
I'm
they
not
pushed
saying
that out. Now they pushed that out about to fit in the black community, you have to dumb yourself down and you can't
yeah, you
read and
don't
stuff.
gotta do that. You don't
Yeah,
gotta do that.
that's foolishness. That's
Yeah.
never. And I believe me, bro. I understand uh the bad side of town. They didn't do that down there. They did not encourage people not to be educated. In fact, that's what they did more than anything. They pushed education, and a lot of them did. The people who didn't, it wasn't because people weren't pushing them. They didn't do it because they didn't want to, and now they're paying for it. But
Yeah.
the whole political thing, the politics get people to think this foolishness that black people don't push education. And right now, during this period of time in America, they don't even care about education.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like everything getting thrown out the window for real.
Miss Lacey says, for some reason, I don't feel bad for Tenderism. He had no business putting Mr. Charlie on when it comes to his recipes and ideas. Yeah. The whole belief about KFC. People don't believe that he created that. They believe that a black person created that. And when you come with all of your see, and then you see this is where people they keep talking about slavery. Okay, it was a terrible thing, horrible thing. But after that, blacks had to exist here as slaves, and then blacks you had the Civil War, and then you had which was not to free the slaves. You had the Civil War, and it wasn't to free them, but you had the Civil War. What was they doing? They had that war for something. What did they have a war for? Man, I had to go. I don't remember. I don't remember. And ooh, I just blanked right there, man. When I tried to remember what the Civil War was, I forgot what I was talking
Wait,
about.
Plat, I think you said which civil you said the Civil War. I think it was about slavery, but it wasn't directly like I think it was like economic issues or something like that.
It
I
was
gotta go.
definitely about money.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
was about to say it was more of an economic reason. It wasn't mainly like slavery. It was definitely a economic issue. But I would have to go back and really look back at all the details. But from what I
Because they were
remember,
racist people in the North.
yeah, no, what people don't know about the North, like the Midwest, like what people don't know about like up kind of like North and like Midwest, those are because people think of the South as just race. You got racism all in America. It is not just the South. Because a lot of people, and that's what I mean by ignorance. I've met people who generally think it's only like the South when it comes to racism. If you really know history, it's racism all up in like when you talk about Indiana, parts of Illinois. Now I'm not talking about Chicago. When you go outside of Chicago, um, what else up there? Like when you talk about just any one of those places, like it's not just in the South. Like of course you go to Mississippi or Louisiana, yeah, that's more blatant racism. But you go into those Midwest places, it's they
Yeah.
throw you off with the racism. Like they ain't gonna make it known, but it's there.
Well,
It's there.
yeah. When you look at the way blacks have and wealth and the way they've been locked out of wealth,
Yeah.
and how politics, like you have a Fox News, and they make light of that. And we got the Negroes, the Stacey Dashes, who make light of it. It's not about voting for a conservative. If that's your point of view, if you are a Christian and you go by the holy word of the Bible, and the Democrats they want to dabble into all these things that go against the Bible, and you say I'm voting conservative, but you also have the opportunity to not vote. You don't have to be a liberal. You don't have to be a liberal. And when and I'm I mean, but when you say conservative, not this political thing. See, when they say black people are conservative, that's a completely different uh, uh, use of the term as opposed to politically conservative, which fluctuates. It goes here, it goes there. It moves back and forth. The actual term, the way black people are, they've always been conservative people. They've always been religious people. They've always been like that. But that doesn't make them Republicans. But when you know the true history, if people knew the true history of America, if they knew the true history of the black in America, they would have no problem with reparations. They would have no problem with the things that black people need. But because they don't know and they keep it from them, they think that these things haven't happened. And when you look at a Jordan, it's people say, well, he's a billionaire. Well, to me, he still got exploited because that man had made billions off of him when he could have just started his own company And if this guy Phil Knight is a businessman, he would have supported Mike. See, that's what another thing about the Negro is Negroes think if they leave, somebody gonna get mad. That white man gonna get mad at them. They don't want that white man mad at them. So I grant them that, man. I don't know what it is. The white man has created some type of system of. They've created some type of system where you get the white man's approval becomes uh, the ultimate desire for the black man. Just even it supersedes his own family. Having the white man's approval is the greatest joy and achievement the Negro can have. And you see that with the Beyonce. You see that now with the Jordan. Well, ain't just now, you see it with Jordan. And see, when them white boys fired him, because see, you guys can say what you want. I don't know what I'm talking about. When them white dudes fired him, he almost had a heart attack. And he left in a Lambo. Now he was riding a Lambo with millions in the bank. Some white boys told him, we're gonna go in a different direction. He got in his feelings. Just think about that for a minute. Why would it matter? And you say, hey, Mike, people get fired every day. Mike, people get fired every day. I've seen people get arrested. I've seen people get fired and get arrested. You up here, and the man gave him $10 million. He said he didn't want to keep the money. This is weird, man. This is weird, man. You think about the sharecroppers and stuff who had to mortgage their entire lives. Say, I'm gonna be paying this man for the rest of my life. I got to go take this money up here to Mr. Charlie. Dad, you haven't paid that house off. You haven't paid that house. When I was a kid, you were paying Mr. Charlie. You still paying Mr. Yeah, I owes him. I owes him. I got to pay him. You know, people find out your aunt when you was 4, 5, 6 years old, you was running around her house, playing in her backyard. You go out, graduate college, get married, you're 32, and you go see your aunt, and she's older now, and you remember the memories of that house, and you find out your aunt said, I got to pay, and you go and look at the paperwork because you're grown now, and it says she's been renting, and you look at your aunt and say, wait a minute, you don't own this house? No, I've been renting this house. So you've been paying every month, and you haven't nothing. You're gonna get no return on your invest. Yeah, and it's sad too. It saddens you, because a lot of us, we just don't understand money.
Nah, play you. I actually, that's a good that we probably got to do a whole stream just on like just housing and everything like that, because
Yeah, why are you
when it
renting forever?
when it come to housing, that is an important, especially like because a lot of people do not really understand that renting versus buying. Like, people do not understand the whole aspect of it, and people would rather just rent. But you can't, and see, that's when you start getting into real estate, and then you start talking about flipping houses, and you actually owning properties, and then you owning land. Niggas, the basic nigga ain't gonna think about that
It's a
they whole
different
life.
level of responsibility that
Yeah,
people haven't been introduced to.
Exactly.
All you gotta
that's
do is dip your toe in it. You'll be all right. You can swim eventually.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
what I'm talking about. Who is that? That's Mella. That's what I'm talking about, Mella. Like once you get an understanding of something, then you can dibble and dabble even further into it. So it's more
She,
so about what you know. You know,
yeah.
Mhm.
the more you
There's
expand
nothing
your
to
mind, the more
fear.
you know, the more you can do.
Yeah, there's nothing to fear about new responsibilities. Just dip your toe in it. You'll be able to swim in it eventually.
Exactly.
well, Tenderism. He didn't file his copyright, and
And thanks for the compliment, brother. I appreciate it.
he's
Yeah, you're
probably
welcome.
wait, he's probably waiting for the white man to do right by him. And that's still going on right now, bro. You know the they don't work that way, man. And this movie centers. This movie centers. And I can go look. I
I
don't know.
love that movie.
Yeah, this movie centers, right?
Oh my God, I love it.
I don't know. I don't know exactly if Screen Actors Guild has happened. I don't. I know Oscars. I gotta go look it up. Might be in. It's what's. Oh yeah, this is damn. Well, no, it should be by February. I think it's around February. If that movie doesn't win an Oscar, and it only wins a BET award,
And
will black people still respect the movie? Will
Wait,
they
what
still
movie?
just
What
like they
movie plat?
respected Malcolm X.
Wait,
Of
what
course
movie
they
plat?
respect it.
the movie centers?
Oh, Sinners. Sinners.
What
Just
I'm
like they
saying, what
still
I'm saying,
respect Malcolm X,
what
which
I'm
didn't
saying.
win the awards that people anticipated. We still revere Malcolm X. Period.
Uh, uh, I don't know about. I actually read the book, um, but the movie and that Spike. You know how Spike is.
It's a movie.
Eh, I mean, it was all right, man. I didn't see it was a Spike Lee film. I
So
mean,
what?
I didn't see it was any more different than it was a Spike. It was a Spike Lee movie.
The way that man embodied
Yeah, Denzel.
Malcolm X to the point where you believed he was Malcolm X, that was phenomenal.
Okay, he did. He did. He did. He did. It was some good acting. But we'll see
Just
if
like
the
those
white man.
sinners, the way
We'll
they're
see.
twins.
We'll see if the white man puts his cosign on the movie centers, and if
Yeah,
he
just
does,
like those twins are
Mella,
portrayed
Mella,
so
Mella,
differently in sinners.
Mella.
That's phenomenal.
We'll see if he puts his cosign on the film. If he doesn't, will black people like it the same? I don't think they will. I think they need his cosign. That's the whole. He's got to win an Oscar. Or he's. I mean, it's got to go that way. It's this society.
You know what?
It's why Jordan is doing what he's doing. Jordan's got plenty of money, money he could spend. Yet Jordan's bouncing around. He's owning here. He wants to work here. Now he's got a NASCAR team. This
That's
is white. This is some kind of way convincing himself he's just as good as the white man. But the truth is, he's a basketball player.
okay, Platinum. That's akin to Halle Berry winning the Oscar for Monsters Ball. I don't respect Monsters Ball as a movie. I don't necessarily find
Mel,
you went back to
you're not.
movies.
Mela, you're not following what I'm talking. I'm talking about the white man's approval. I'm not talking about Monsters Ball, and I'm really not talking about sinners. I'm saying
You just
why are these guys like Michael and just like Tenderism? Tenderism, he don't want to. Tenderism is like, man, this is my friend. I work for him. Um, I'm not here for a copyright. I'm not here to go and become a competitor. And I said only really Negroes think like that. I know the thinking. That's how Negroes think. But you look at the Gates and you look at the Rob Storm. What if they thought like that? They would have never struck out on their own. They wouldn't have been able to create the things they created. And that's why. That's what I mean. These dudes ain't no entrepreneurs. These dudes are not no businessmen.
there are powerful black businessmen in this world. Very powerful. So good live stream, Platinum.
Yeah, man. Platt, I mean, what's going on today, Platt? Man, what's up?
What am I doing?
Why
He
you down
probably
in
didn't
Tinder?
have breakfast.
Yeah, man, you seem
He
grouchy,
sound
man. Why
hungry.
you down in
Mella.
Tenderism, man?
Mella. Yeah, what are you doing, Mella? Go ahead. What you saying, bro?
I say, why you so hard on this old man in Tenderism, man?
I'm not hard on him. That's his life. That's
He wants
TikTok.
some ribs.
No, that's TikTok. That's his life.
But the crazy thing is, apparently the whole Tenderism thing, fall off the bone. Apparently, they slicing the rib and then they make you drop the bone and then it fall off the bone. So it ain't even like coming straight out the smoke pit and boom. They
Mhm.
slicing it to make it fall off the bone.
And
But
well,
there's all kind of stuff behind it. But to each his own, man. Look, the old man, he having his run, man. And just unfortunate for him at this age. I don't know how old the gentleman is, but he looks elder for sure. At his age, man, look, he probably just enjoying the run, man, enjoying the people coming, showing him love. And that's probably enough for him at that age. Now, if he in his early 20s, 30s, something like that, 40s, maybe even 50s, where you can try to capitalize off this situation even more, I'll be like, go for it. But if this man over 70 years old, look, he got more life behind him than he does in front of him. So I don't know how he grew up.
you're
I don't
right.
know what his
Eating
circumstance
them
is
ribs.
now.
And
But
eating them ribs ain't eating. Yeah, that
it's
ain't.
sitting on his stomach, huh? That red meat sitting on his
Man, yeah,
stomach.
he's just too old, man. It's not even that. It's just that he shouldn't be, because he's doing it every day. He shouldn't be eating that stuff like that every day.
Yeah, I mean, and who knows if he eating this stuff every day, man? Look, when I was a teen and I worked at Popeyes, it was cool to eat Popeyes the first, about 2-3 weeks when I initially started there. After that, I was like, yo, man, I'm going on lunch break. I'm going somewhere else. I'm bringing my own lunch to work. It
Amen
get
to
old
that.
after a while. Eating the same thing over and over. You going in, get some beans, get some mashed potatoes. If they serve coleslaw there, I'm not a fan of coleslaw, but if they serve it there, I'm pretty sure they do. It's a barbecue establishment, smokehouse establishment. You eating the same thing. Oh, he probably ain't even eating that like that no more, man.
He probably isn't.
Until we get away from this. Look, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the Oscars giving that movie best movie of the year. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But it's like that we chase it too hard.
Oh, you talking about Sinners?
No, just nothing.
No, I'm
It
asking
don't
you. You
matter, man.
mentioned the Oscars.
No, I'm just saying. I'm talking about. I know why Tenderism doing what he doing. I'm a black man in America. He wants to get along, man. That's his friend. And I said, well, how come we don't ever think like business? And we don't, because we don't think about business. We don't look at the world the way the we don't look at the world the way the businessman looks at the world. We look at the world from almost like a childlike position where
I'm
we
sad to
don't
hear you say that.
we look at it like the way a child looks at the world. We don't look at it the way an adult looks at it. And that's why one of them is copyrighted the term, and the other one is cool with that, and they gonna trust. I trust that he gonna do the right by me. He's always that shit.
Oh,
That ain't how it works.
I'm sad to hear you say that Black families aren't interested in prioritizing education for their children. They rather get them Jordans, which Michael Jordan doesn't own, as opposed to studying the business model in which Nike talked Michael Jordan out of his well-deserved money. I'm sad to hear you say that,
Mm.
but I guess it's a fact.
Yeah, well, he didn't talk him out of it. He didn't want to get out of the deal. And I'm not saying it wasn't a contract. He just simply didn't want to start his own business.
But I would ask the question: when does opportunity meet the time for him to start his business? I mean, at that point in time, his business was trying to be the greatest player ever in the NBA. So that was his business. So I mean, I get it. I mean, people can say, well, yeah, he got offered to buy out a portion of Nike at that time. You know, when he got offered to buy that, Nike was at its lowest at that point. It wasn't at a high point. It was at its lowest.
He didn't see the
So
vision. That's what you're saying. So
yeah, he didn't.
he stuck
He
to the
didn't.
guarantee as opposed to enact on a vision that they were presenting him.
I wouldn't even, Mel. I wouldn't even say necessarily a vision. Like the opportunity was presented, but that wasn't his mindset at the time. Like he's focused on his craft of being a athlete.
But why
Like I'm trying
wasn't
to be the best athlete I can be right now. And
why wasn't
I understand you
business?
presenting me with the opportunity to be a businessman,
But
but
listening to Platinum, it can be examined why his mindset wasn't on business.
I would ask the question as to if Platt is saying his mindset wasn't on business, I would beg to differ. I would say his mindset was on the business that was in front of him at the time, which was basketball. Because let's say he takes on being the CEO, or you know what? All right, cool. I'm gonna get bought out. I'm gonna get bought out of this contract, or I'm gonna buy into this and be part owner of Nike, or whatever the case may be, whatever the situation was. And let's see, he has to now devote more time to being a businessman. We may not get the player Michael Jordan. You see what I'm saying? Like
Oh,
opportunity has to meet the circumstance.
he had to concentrate on the performance of
Exactly.
as a sports star as opposed to dedicating his concentration on um balancing this new investment. Okay. Yeah,
Exactly. Like,
it
you
was
know,
taking attention away from what he was concentrating on at the moment. Okay, that makes sense.
yeah, because to me, like I said, Miller, I look at it as like tremendous opportunity presented to him. But again, Nike was on the down. They weren't trending up, they were down. So they looking at him to be like, all right, look, you can buy into it, and you know, it can become something even greater. I'm sure that pitch was even there. Look, it becomes even greater. You could be a billionaire even faster, you know, whatever the case may be. But he was probably looking at it like, okay, well, how much time would I have to dedicate to this? Because if I'm just gonna give you money, I do want to be at the board meeting. I want to sit in. I want to make the decision. Does that take away from me
Right.
practicing my craft?
Yeah.
No,
Absolutely, it does.
I don't believe that Phil Knight wants him on the board of directors. If he wanted him on there, he'd be on there. And if you know their relationship and how much money he's made, Phil is low key diss to keep him off the board of directors. And it's also a dog whistle. Look, let's be for real. Phil Knight's a white man. He's letting he's just made his biggest contribution when he put $3 million to the Republican Party, I think in Denver or something like that. Phil Knight is letting the guys, the NFL owners, he's letting them know, the other billionaires, hey, this dude worked for me. He don't have no say on my company. He just is an employee. And this to me, and I know the Negroes don't see. That's what I'm saying. Most of these Negroes, they don't even look at it. But I know they don't want to hear that. And I'm saying, if Michael Jordan is everything you say he is, why don't he start his own shit? Or why didn't he?
Like I said, only thing I can think of that seems rational at that time. How can you start your own business when you're dedicated to one thing at that particular time in your life? His dedication was to basketball. He wasn't dedicated to being a businessman. He was dedicated to being a basketball player. I can't win championships and be in this boardroom. Something has to give. So he decided to go with
No,
what was presumably his first love, the game of basketball. I'm go with
no.
basketball first.
That you're saying that. I know you're assuming, right? Making an assumption that he said that, but no. Um, he could have had a business. But look, Michael Jordan can do whatever the hell he wants to do. I just said the Negro to me don't understand business. That's my whole thing. Because I'm saying that ain't how business works. You got
Yeah,
you
I mean,
got people, man. You got people. You got businessmen out here. They'll sue you for $2. They'll sue you over a $2 debt, and they'll spend 20,000 doing it because it's business. And I'm saying they don't look at it like that. Jordan don't, and these guys really don't want to do no paperwork.
and that could be some of it too. But Platt, that takes time, man. Let's say Jordan did sign the deal. What if he got jerked out of the deal later? Like all of that stuff happens, man. Like the dude that created Facebook, he created it with a friend. And then he jerked the friend out of the thing. Cause you know what? The friend was like, well, you're the one that's the programmer and stuff like that. I'm more so just the communications person, but you know the code, you know the program. And then guess what? The guy that knew the code jerked him out at the end. Now the guy doubled back and got money off of it, but he ain't as rich as the owner of Facebook now. So I mean, it's like I said, it's a catch-22, man. It's I understand what you're saying. Like, sure, did Jordan have the business mindset to be like, oh yeah, this could really take off? It could. It did. But guess what? His focus was, man, I'm just trying to be the best athlete. That's all I'm trying to be right now.
The
Let me be the
love of
best
the
athlete,
game.
and all the rest of the stuff will
What
take care of itself later. And it did. It
what
worked out for
what,
him. It don't
what
always
about
work out for everybody.
what
It
about
worked
when
out
he got
for LeBron James like that.
what about when he got fired?
Who got fired?
The Washington Wizards.
He didn't
Michael
get fired from
Jordan.
the Washington
Yeah,
Wizards.
yes, he did. He got fired.
No, he sold his stake in the Washington Wizards. He sold it.
Okay, hold on, because now here we go. Here we
He,
go.
he sold his stake.
The Wizards. He got fired.
Yeah,
He
he sold
sold
it.
it.
Up front.
Why? Because they were losing.
No, he sold it. Somebody came in and offered like $3 billion for the Charlotte Hornets.
Oh yeah, you can't turn that down.
Can't turn that money down.
Hell no, you can't turn that down.
That's like the same thing with Beats by Dre. Everybody like, oh, Dr. Dre sold out. Why would he sell Beats by
Okay.
Dre? Somebody came in and
Uh,
offered him like
do do I need to
four or
show you?
$5 billion.
Do I need to show you? Because I don't like to share my screen like that. It says yes. Michael Jordan was fired from his front office role, president of basketball operations by the Washington Wizards, Abe Polian, on May 7th, 2003, shocking Jordan, who expected to transition fully into the role after his final season playing for the team, with the decision stemming from a player's something poor team performance, and I guess they didn't like him or whatever. But anyhow, and it goes into specific the reason: infighting. We don't even know if that's true. You know what I'm saying? A hostile work environment, 3 losing season,
Oh, hold on,
and
hold on. I got
Michael.
my stories mixed
It,
up.
it, it
I got
says
my
it
stories
says
mixed up. You
it
are
says
correct. He
Jordan
did
felt.
get fired.
It said Jordan felt blindsided and used, which he was.
I'm
And
thinking
that's
about the Charlotte Hornets. That's my
yeah,
bad.
not the Hornets. Hold up,
I'm thinking about the Charlotte Hornets.
Jordan felt blindsided and used, which he was. And guess what, Jordan? It's called business.
It is what it
It's,
is.
it's called business. He felt, see, that's what I'm saying. This is what a Negro does, right? He felt blindsided and used. See, where's that coming from?
All right, Platt. So you're right. He got fired.
Okay.
Did that not give him another opportunity to then be a majority owner of the Charlotte Hornets? He don't
I,
get that opportunity if he the president of basketball operations with the Wizards. One door
well,
closes, another door open
well,
for
that
him.
ain't the way he
It is
act,
what it
though.
is.
But that's not, he said Jordan felt blindsided and used as he believed he was helping the franchise and expected to move into the executive role full time. That's what they said. According to New York Times, Jordan felt blindsided and used as he believed he was helping the franchise. That is Mr. Tenderism right now. This right here is the same way Tenderism is looking at the world. the same way. And that's once again, that is the Negro. That's how the Negro sees business. They don't see business as what it is. They see it as some type of gentleman's agreement. You know,
What
it's
about
not, man. It's
Jay-Z?
business.
But Platt, that's business though.
What about Jay-Z, Platinum?
He
Is he a
said
businessman?
the meeting was tense. Jordan reportedly angrily stormed out of the meeting after his services were no longer needed.
That's business.
What about Jay-Z?
I don't know anything about Jay-Z.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. To me, at the end of the day, Platt is business. That door closed, another chapter opened up for him. When did he become the majority owner of the Charlotte Hornets?
He
Probably
also
soon after.
Okay,
A few years
Jr.
after he became the majority owner of the Charlotte Hornets.
Jr. He talking about the Hornets. Jr. He left a $10 million thank you, or the guy handed him $10 million for his time. Like, obviously the man got to pay him, right? He's got to pay him.
Yeah.
But in addition, he said, here's $10 million because that was reported. Jordan got pissed off, stormed out, left the money on the desk.
That's cool. One door closed. The question I'm asking you, Platt, did another door open? Do you think Jordan did? I mean, obviously he learned from that situation. Well, I can't just rely on a good handshake. I can't just rely on somebody doing the right thing. Let me go own a team. Let me be a majority owner of a team. And so that was his next move.
Well, he wasn't that good owning the team either, though.
He owned it to the point where they paid $3 billion for it and paid him for it.
He bought that team from the what you call, didn't it? The Johnson guy from the BET guy, right?
I believe so. I would have to do research on it.
Okay, he sold the team, man. All right, he got him some money. What does that mean? That don't mean he's not an exec, man.
He
let me ask you this.
let
me ask you this. Why does the Negro want Jordan to be an exec?
Was he not an exec for the Hornets? I mean, you the majority owner. I'm pretty sure you're an exec up in that joint.
They didn't win. They didn't win.
I mean, winning is relative if you're making money. He was making money. I'm just saying.
Man. Okay, he made him some money. You're right.
I'm just saying, man.
You're right, man. Make you some money, Negro. Just make you some money, Negro, and be like.
I mean, so what so Platt, you want him to win and make the money? I mean, you can't do it all. Sometimes you can't do it all, man.
Everybody else do it.
Shit. You follow football? When the last time the Cleveland Browns won anything? They making hand over fist money. They like the 8th richest franchise in the NFL. They ain't won nothing. Come on, Platt. Let's be for real, man.
Yeah, but they just wait a minute. They just fired the coach.
That's good. That don't mean they're gonna win.
No, they fired the execs. They wrote to get them guys out of there. They changed the team. They trade guys, all of that. And they're making money. But there's changes made. Jordan don't understand. You know what? Let me get up off Jordan because
I'm just hard for me.
No, it's hard for me.
His moves, man.
No, man. Look, man. Jordan is a dude who wants so much to be a businessman. And that's fine. That's fine. Okay, my thing was with Sinners. If Sinners don't win an Oscar, how come Negroes can't be happy with a BET Awards? But see, you know it, I know it, we won't be. We'll only be happy if the white man says it's okay.
Well, the BET Awards are not even a thing now. They canceled it.
I think they got rid of the hip hop thing, right? They got rid of the main one. Did they get rid of the main one? I thought they kept the main one.
Let me check.
Yeah, this sentiment where black folks aren't happy unless white people approve of them that's crazy to me.
But it's there.
Is it subconscious?
Yeah, I think so, man. I think it's how we get brainwashed into it as we grow up. Because it's just how we see achievement if the achievement is only blessed by blacks, it's just same achievement, but it's lesser. If it's a blessed by whites, it's a great achievement.
Yeah, I just didn't look at it like that. Um, Growing up in an all black neighborhood, like all black every day, and then I joined the military, and I'm surrounded by these white young women, um, and we're getting along. It didn't make me feel greater because I'm getting along with white people. That didn't make me feel greater. They're just people, you know.
It
They're just
matters. It matters to Jordan, and that's fine, man. I hope it work out for him, bro.
Yeah, that's a cold statement right there. Black folks don't think they mean anything unless they get the white folks' approval.
Even over your spouses and family.
That's crazy.
You know, there was a Negro. They took it down. The city they complained, took them about 3 years. They finally removed me. It was a plaque. They put a plaque up in the city, and this black dude. This was doing Jim Crow and segregation. This black dude was down there by the docks, and this boat uh, turned over. And it was full of like 15 people, and they were like novice, and they called themselves going out for a boat ride, and too many of them got in there. So a couple of waves hit it, and the boat tipped over, and a lot of people couldn't swim. So this Negro, he saw it. He happened to be down there. He saw it, and they don't know who he was. He jumped in the river and started swimming out there, and he rescued one. He rescued two. He went back, got another, and I think he rescued about 7 people, and a bunch of them drowned. And in the process, he drowned. And he could not, technically, legally, he couldn't even get in the boat with them. He couldn't even get in that same boat because he was black. And they put a plaque up, and they put a worthy Negro on like a tree by where it happened, because he jumped in there and saved a bunch of white folks. And I said, ain't that something, man? You give your whole life up to get that pat on the head. I was like, why would I be jumping in a river if I can't? I ain't even supposed to be in. I can't even get in the boat. But it's that brainwashing that the Negro has. He's just brainwashed.
Man,
And
that's a sad story for sure.
if he would have saw a bunch of black folks, the boat tipped over, he wouldn't have jumped in.
Yep, come on, Platt. Don't do that. You don't know.
Jr., why do you
that's a
do this all the
gross
time?
that's
Why
a
do you,
gross
Jr., you do this all
statement
the
to make,
time, Jr.
Platt.
Jr.
Platt, that's a gross statement to make. Come on, don't
No,
do
it's
that,
not.
Platt. That's gross. Platt, don't do that, man.
Why do you
But you
do
are
this,
correct.
Jr.? Yeah,
BET does still hold the main award show. You are correct.
Jr. This is what I'm saying, Jr. You don't want to believe this. If that Negro would have saw 15 black people, maybe the boat holds 8, and 15 got in there, and the boat was low, and then the water and all the people started to drown. That Negro wouldn't have jumped in there. He would have said them Negroes should have known better.
I would think different, Platt. I just think differently, Platt. I understand what you're saying. I just think differently, man. To me, I mean, look, the guy showed the act of heroism, right? He risked his life or gave his life pretty much to save other people. I would hope
And
that
and
if it was a
and if
boat of 15 black people, he would do the same.
he would have
And that's just him. That was just him.
and if he would have survived, Jr., he would have woke up in handcuffs, because legally he wasn't supposed to be putting his hands on them white women.
Oh
Come on, Platt, you wild, man. That's crazy.
my God. Wow.
Platt, you a wild boy. What's going on with you, man? What is going on with you, man? I caught your playback
Oh my God.
I think 2 nights ago. I ain't gonna mention the person name, but what I will say, that was the old platinum right there. That's what got me to your channel. I was like, boy, Plat back in his bag. All right, now I see him. You know what I'm talking about. But you was in your bag, man.
Who, Anton? Talking about I really don't talk about people over here, but that was a disaster.
Yeah,
With
you
him.
you was you was in your bag, man. I went back and I listened to the whole playback. So, whatever your watch time is, for YouTube and stuff like that, and you got that full watch time from me. I was running errands, had my earbud in. I was like, this Plat going in. I was like, okay,
No,
Plat.
it was fun. It was fun to do that. He did that. Just he was clowning. I mean, but I mean, and why he's doing it. And Corey, matter of fact, Corey comes on today, I think, and we'll see what I doubt even. I don't even think he's gonna bring it up. I think he done moved on.
Yeah, most likely Corey Holcomb has moved on. Most likely.
Yeah, Corey don't look at it like a guy like him. He ain't no value. Hey, Red Talk, we haven't seen Red Talk in a year. How you doing? Okay, a guy like Corey punking out a guy like Anton, that ain't something he's not the type of guy you even bring that up. Cause it's like, man, you punked out Anton. People gonna be like, man, that dude a bitch. So it ain't even no victory for Corey to do it to him. Cause it's almost like Corey going too far with him. It's like you hit somebody you slap him or you punch him. So it's like you got to take it easy on this guy. You can't punch this guy.
But yeah, I don't want you to go back down that road because I think you you got a good grasp on it from that previous YouTube.
Well, it was funny.
But it was good. It was good. It was very
funny. Now I'm the same guy. I don't know why you guys
I don't know.
say that. I'm the same guy.
I'm kind of new to this YouTube space. I only been in it for maybe about 10 months or something like that. But I've been on your platform a few times, and people be like, "Man, Platt, you done changed up, Platt. You ain't the same Platt." So I went back, listened to some of your older stuff, and I was like, "Yeah, I can see it there, but
the same thing, man. You just
definitely
you have to
on it a little bit hard."
Well, first of all, you have to follow YouTube guidelines, and you have to understand that, and then it has to be the topic. It was the same things. We had my stuff. I enjoyed doing it. We had fun. That particular thing, it happened, and like I said, it just depends. For that thing, all of that bravado, and that's fake bravado. I don't get a wrestling. And dudes who, like, if you've really been out there, and it's the thing when people say that, nobody's saying I'm in the streets, but I certainly understand them, and I certainly know dudes who are.
Yeah.
And yeah, that don't work. Walking around beating your chest. Matter of fact, right now, if I want to get a beating, an absolute beating, if I went down to the trap right now and started acting like I was a tough guy, it'd probably take about a good 20 minutes before one of them dudes called me out. And I'd get a beating. Now, I didn't say I wouldn't defend myself. What I'm saying is if I'm down there trying to like, hey, man, what the fuck? Hey, man, I'm a real man. We real over here, man. Hey, man, watch how you looking at me, man. Who this nigga right here, man? Who you supposed to be? She is, nigga. You better check my background. You better check my motherfucker. That's what I'm saying. I get a beating. Somebody eventually going to be like, who is this dude? Hey, man, what you want something? All right, well, bye, man. What you mean, bye, nigga? You can't tell me where to go, nigga. No, fuck this, nigga. You got me fucked up. That what people look at that as that's a fool. That's a fool. And that's what Anton looked like, an absolute fool. That man wasn't afraid of him. And and guess what they wouldn't do? They wouldn't do it outside. They would proceed to take me to pieces right inside, right where I'm at. And I've seen that. I saw a dude. He was talking. We was all out, and I think we was at a fair, and he was just talking crazy, man. And he got fronted, and this dude said, "What?" This dude had his wife with him. He said, "What? Who are you talking to?" "I'm talking to whoever trying to catch it, man. Cause I'm this and that and that." And then that dude looked behind him because he swore it was people all around. He looked behind him. He saw everybody had backed up. Everybody backed up about a good 5 feet from him. And I said, that dude hadn't even realized it, man. Because he's like, "You better be glad these people behind me." And that dude said, "Ain't nobody behind you." And he looked around. He didn't realize that. It was like, "Nah, man, go ahead and fight." And of course, he got waxed. So that don't fly, man. I mean, like you defend yourself, but you don't walk around trying to be no tough guy, man. That's if you're not a tough guy, why do that? It's crazy. But so much for that, huh? Money, no power, man. I gotta get me some power, man. Well, hold up, JR. I ain't got no money and I ain't got no power. I got a long way to go, don't I?
What
Hey
does
man, everybody got to start from somewhere, man.
what does power look
That's
like
what I
for
tell
you,
people. You got to start from somewhere.
To change things, um, to be listened to.
Mm-hmm.
When you take, say a major company, right? Say Google, to go into the offices of Google and they're listening and they change things based on what I say. Um, to be able to walk into um, a hotel and my room, everything's already for me, and they said, "This is your elevator. This is your floor." You fly to a foreign country and you meet the president of that country. You meet the leader, and they said you're invited to a lunch, a breakfast with all the powerful people, and to say stuff to them and they make change. I need me some power, man. I need power, and and I think that's what we need to be raising our children to strive for power. Okay, yeah, you get the money comes, the money's coming, or the money will come, but you focus on that power and get away from this rapper and all this NBA and stuff like that. Get you some power.
Yeah, I think that'd be a thing that you're just kind of like running a circle, man, like a dog chasing its tail. As
Or
far as
you think you talking about trying to get that?
yeah,
Well, then I can be like the slave croppers, right? I just be an old slave cropper Negro. Be happy with my wife. My wife is all blistered. Her fingers all torn. She's all scarred up, and weathered. And my kids, the clothes are tattered, and they had to drop out of school in the 7th grade to come and work. And we can go out and work, and no matter what the harvest does, it's still gonna never be enough to pay off the whole loan. And get me an old banjo, and just sit there and pop my banjo on a Saturday and have the kids dance, and my wife tries to dance, and that's my idea of life.
that's
That
your idea of life right now, man. That's crazy. A banjo. That's
No,
your
I'm saying
idea.
be like that. That's not. I'm just saying be that way.
Oh, I'm
It's,
playing. I was
it's,
about to say, man, what
it's an
the hell?
extreme thought. Um, I forgot my thought real quick. Um,
That was wild, huh, Mella? He said
yeah,
the banjo
that
with the
took
crop.
me back.
Yeah. Like what the?
Because that opposite of power, that's what he's left with. Is what he's saying. It's like if I'm not interested in power, then this would be my scenario. And that's a pretty sad scenario, of course. Oh, I don't know. When I think of power, it's not necessarily about meeting dignitaries all over the world and being able to affect, uh, being invited to affect change in others. That's not necessarily my idea of power. And then there's the wealth aspect, which absolutely has an aspect of power. I don't know. If I had a choice between wealth and influence, I'm choosing wealth, because wealth produces its own influence. If that makes sense. I mean, you know, like there are broke people that are influencing others, right? Hell, we find them on YouTube all the time.
Yep, that's true.
But are they sharecroppers?
With a banjo.
You know, it's like so. I'm trying to understand this whole. I think I put a definition of it in the back chat. What power is, described as, and if I am allowed, I don't know if I am.
Yeah, we don't do the you had put a link in there.
Yeah,
You got to be careful with. You got to be careful with links.
Oh no, it's just a definition of what power is: the capacity or ability to direct or influence the behavior of others or the course of events. So I'm picking up a lot of ors in this definition. It's like
nothing's absolute, huh?
Yeah, it's not absolute.
How Platt do it? Is that what you do, Platt?
That's what I was picking up from the definition. That's what I was picking up from the definition. It's a lot of ors in there. So when it comes to power, it would appear based on the definition, there are no absolutes in it. You determine for yourself what power is, which is why I asked you, what does power look like for you? You explained it. I respect it, and that's so that's good for me. You describe what power looks like for you, and it's important to be able to, it's important to have that self-awareness. A lot of people,
Mel,
they
I got
compare themselves to others when they're not looking at it for themselves.
The chat says, "What is a broke person?" Platt asks a girl that a person under $1 million is broke. Ain't that something? Well, I'll tell you this: when you get a couple of them girls, you will experience being broke.
They gonna pick you clean.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's all relative. I mean, the question I would ask you, Platt,
pick poor Robin clean. Pick poor Robin clean. That's what them girls gonna do. Let them find out you got $1 million, baby. They sharpening their knives and forks and coming for you.
Thinking in, huh?
I mean, I
think that's relative to to the situation, because if you only have just $1 million, what you gonna do with $1 million? You got $1 million in the bank account. Are you venturing off to then double that money so that money can grow capital for you?
With that being said, brother, and platinum as well, do Black men have the discipline it takes to grow that million, or are they gonna fund it off? Do Black people really know how to hold on to money, or do they want to buy another Rolex?
Yeah, we're not really as a people collectively, we're not, as Black people, not every one of them, but collectively we just don't understand money. We've never been taught money, and it's probably because our parents and their parents never had money. So when you don't have it, how you going to understand it? And like, and that's the thing when you talk about a aunt who may have been renting a apartment when you was a kid, you 31, and you love that house, and then you realize, and you see that in the paper, you can look at the, go get the mail, and you look in there because it's a mortgage, and maybe you might be in a real estate. You might say, let me see something about this house because I think I can do something with it. And then you realize that it was a rental. You can't look down. That's what we see this, and that's what I'm saying. People like that just don't know. I'm not saying like Jordan is a little bit different. He know. See, when you say sharecroppers, you and peons, you can't look down on a peon because they weren't allowed to be anything but that. It was against the law. And they like you couldn't sell the corn. You couldn't sell the peas. They did that on purpose, so it kept you being beat. You kept getting exploited no matter what. But in this day and age, we've sort of moved out from under it. A guy like Jordan can start his own shoe company. He didn't. And was it you? You were saying stock options. He turned them down.
Yeah,
He
he
could have.
turned it down.
He could have bought what? Got how much in stock options?
It was a significant amount, but he turned it down.
Why did he say why?
I I don't know, but that's what we were speculating about.
Oh,
Was he just more concerned about being an athlete and not the businessman? So, you know,
well,
we'll never know.
that's where we at, man.
Tell
That's
him.
where we at.
But
And
yeah,
That's a good point. I was thinking about emotional exhaustion. Sometimes it's exhausting to be Black. I
amen to
return
that.
to this country. Um, to wake up every day knowing that your skin matters in the negative in this country, that's exhausting, emotionally exhausting. Um, I think there ought to be, if a revolution in anything, it ought to be believing in oneself. Just believe in yourself. A lot of people hold themselves back from envisioning something that will prosper them because they don't believe in themselves. This tenderism guy, he perhaps didn't even conceive that it mattered to copyright it. He just thought he was doing something that he loves. You know, I'm doing it for the love. I'm doing it for the love. He didn't envision, well, maybe I should think about this as business. This is something I can own. I can own this term. I could keep this going. Maybe he was just enchanted with the idea that it's popular as opposed to
mhm.
understanding this is an opportunity to own and advance what I've started.
And
He
that's
he
what I
just
see it
needed to
as,
believe
Mella.
in himself. I can't.
I'm not gonna say he didn't believe in himself, but I mean, you only know what you know, right? I'm, if I'm grading somebody, if I put
But what prevented him from
geophysics
wanting to
equation,
know? What prevented him from wanting to know more? Is what I'm. That's what I'm saying about it being exhausting to be Black, because a lot of times it obstructs someone from wanting to know more. It's like, I guess I'm just doing good for a Black person. For a Black person, I'm
I
doing
got you.
good, as opposed to just, you know, understanding that there are advancements to be had and that inspires you to study further. Some people
I
just
got
don't
you.
choose to study further. They think they're doing good where they're at for being Black. And I think being Black is just
Mm.
exhausting people from discovering more to be had, if that makes
I
sense.
got you. I got
yeah,
you, Melo. We're
I
gonna
understand it.
we're gonna let JR have the last word.
Yeah, I would just say, look, the obvious reasonings, in my opinion, towards it is his age, the environment he grew up in, the time frame which he grew up in. Like, he's obviously an older gentleman, the tenderism man, he's a elder, so I don't blame him from not understanding the full capacity of this word and the power that social media and influence has had on this one particular word. Uh, you know, if I'm looking at a guy like,
It's going to be put in the dictionary, for goodness sakes.
yeah, if I'm looking at a guy like somebody like now, like a Keith Lee, somebody like that, if Keith Lee would have put this word in the forefront and then not had the capacity to then go forth and capitalize on this word itself or this phrase itself, then I'll be like, yeah, man, like I would be in agreement with everything that Platt said. Like he's not thinking outside the box, you're not thinking about being, more than what you could be or seeing the vision further on, like how you said, Mella. But for this gentleman, I think about the time frame when he grew up, maybe the environment where he grew up. All of those things play a factor, and maybe his life, his eyes were just not exposed to enough. But now people are exposed to enough
He didn't
to
have any younger
understand.
family members to clue him in.
I, you know, that remains to be seen. I haven't seen a family member come out and speak on his behalf yet,
Yeah.
but that remains to be seen. But if it were to happen present day, with somebody of the age that's in this, social media influence sphere, Plat, and they did not go about getting it,
Mhm.
trademark and thing like that, then I'll be with you 100%. Be like, yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. That's just poor business. That's poor
Mhm.
lack.
Mhm.
That's lack of knowledge all around. But for this gentleman, like, I can't fault him for what he does not know. So
Okay. Okay, and we're gonna leave it there. We got to figure it out. That's what we try to do, man. We try.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. All
yeah,
right.
that was good shit, Black man.
All
We'll be
right.
back on later. I salute to you, man.
All
Peace
right, brother.
out.
All right,
I might come back later on. So be
all
on the
right.
lookout. All right.